Biden says there are 150,000 troops and they remain very much in a threatening position. Russia's denying it wants a war in Europe, but has shared concern over a growing military strength around its territory. Irish MEP Barry Andrews says the mixed messaging from Moscow is worrying.
A lot of the intelligence that's been shared by the EU member states would indicate that there is a massive build-up both in Belarus and in Crimea and Luhansk as well on the border of Ukraine. So there are mixed signals. Obviously, everybody hopes that diplomacy will prevail in these circumstances because this is an unprecedented threat to the security of Ukraine and to its future economic prosperity.
Face masks could soon be optional in shops, schools and on public transport. NPHET's to meet tomorrow to review the remaining pandemic restrictions, including rules around mask wearing in the settings. Senior government figures are said to be expecting a recommendation to ease the emergency measure and replace it with guidance. Sinn Féin's finance spokesperson is calling for an end to tax advantages gifted to investment funds. Donegal Deputy Pearse Doherty moved a motion on the matter in the Dáil last evening, with an aim of protecting renters and home buyers. The motion also calls on the government to bring forward measures to empower local authorities and build sustainable communities where workers and families can rent or buy at affordable prices. Deputy Doherty told Finance Minister Paschal Donohoe that change is needed.
This motion calls on the government once again to end the tax advantage that they deliberately gift to the investment funds in the housing market, and instead fund and empower local authorities and home buyers to purchase homes that can be bought or rented at affordable prices. That is what a Sinn Féin government do, and even at this late stage, that is what Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael should do. Roll up the red carpet and stop allowing these funds to pay no tax.
And a number of motorists were caught for various offences in Sion Mills yesterday. Police monitored traffic through the village following concerns expressed by the local community. Police spoke to a sizable number of drivers regarding what they have described as minor motoring infractions. However, they also detected a number of more serious offences. These included a motorist using a mobile phone while driving through the village, two motorists who thought the 50 km/h and 50 mph were the same thing, and a motorist detected driving with excess alcohol. The first three motorists received points and a fine, while the fourth will be forfeiting his licence when he appears before the courts. Weather now becoming very windy today. Showery outbreaks of heavy rain will extend from the west during the morning, tracking eastwards, bringing a risk of spot flooding. Highest temperatures in the afternoon of 9 to 11 degrees. That's it for now. We're back with more at 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
You have one new message. Hi Claire, Auntie Dee here. I just wanted to say a big thank you for skipping my party. We had a great night and everyone was so happy you didn't come. Now you take care. I hope to see you soon. Bye.
No one will thank you for turning up to work or anything else when you're sick. Stay at home and get a test to protect yourself and others from COVID-19. From the HSE, for us all.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today. And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to noon show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning, and you're very welcome along to the 9 till noon show, 4 minutes past 9 on this Wednesday, the 16th of February 2022. How are you all keeping? It was a windy one last night. Apparently, worse to come over the next few days. Hopefully everyone stays safe and stays indoors when necessary. Anyway, the lines are open for this show this morning. Caroline is taking your calls right now on 07491 25,000. That's 07491 25,000. Your WhatsApps and texts to 08660 25,000. Lots for you to have an opinion on, but if you want to raise your own issues, raise your own concerns, share a story, good or bad, the same numbers apply. And if you've never texted into a radio show before, let today be the first day. It's always great to see our regulars text in, but also those texting in for the first time as well. If you want to email, by the way, it's comments@highlandradio.com, and feel free to Watch and engage with us on social media. You can watch the programme now by going to our website, highlandradio.com. You'll see the links for Watch Live. You can watch in your browser, or if you prefer, you can go straight to YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland, or on Facebook, Highland Radio, and watch us there. Right, starting with the Finn Valley Voice this morning. And the Minister of State with responsibility for disability, Anne Rabbitte, has said she is seeking an external independent review into services provided by the Health Service Executive in the North West region. She said there is a pattern of failure to protect residents with disabilities in Community Healthcare Organisation 1 in the region. Her call for a review follows the release 2 months ago of the 11-page executive summary of the Brandon report into sustained sexual abuse of intellectually disabled residents at HSE Run, Ardgreenia Court and the Sean O'Hare Unit Strannola. And it also follows the Health Information and Quality Authority's concerns about a resident with intellectual disabilities who was found to be viewing online images of child sexual abuse. In the Inish Times this morning, Carndonagh requires proactive rather than reactive policing, according to a local county councillor. Speaking to the Inish Times following several instances of antisocial behaviour in the market town at the weekend, Councillor Albert Doherty said it was less than ideal that Garda, stationed outside Carndonagh, had to be called in to deal with the situation. Councillor Doherty said there were no Garda on the beat in Carndonagh on Saturday night into Sunday morning to deal with the antisocial behaviour. The Donegal Post reports on huge sadness at the death of a much-loved teacher. There's been a huge outpouring of sadness across South Donegal in the LGFA GEA community following the death of Donna Boyle, née Dunyan, a native of Barnasmore, Donegal Town. Ms Boyle had been living in Kentucky Ardra. She passed away in the Donegal Hospice following a long illness bravely borne. She'll be greatly missed by all who knew her, especially her husband Brendan, children Owen and Evelyn, parents Danny and Marion, brothers Barry and Donal, and her extended family and wide circle of friends. Ms Boyle was a popular teacher, having spent much of her career teaching in Frosses at National School. May she rest in peace, and all the strength that is possible to her partner and family. The Irish Independent tells us today that the end is in sight for masks in schools, shops and on public transport. And I think this will be widely welcomed, not universally, but widely in any case. Laws requiring masks to be worn in shops and on public transport are expected to be dropped and replaced with guidance urging people to continue the wearing of face coverings to protect against COVID. It will be interesting to see once the law is lifted, how many people will choose to. I'd say many people will choose to. The government is also expecting the requirement for pupils to wear masks in primary and secondary schools to end after NPHET meets this week. However, passengers flying abroad will still be required to wear masks while on aeroplanes, as those rules are based on EU directives. The requirement to wear masks in shops and on trains and buses is among the final COVID-19 restrictions remaining after the government announced a major easing of emergency measures last month. And NPHET will meet tomorrow to review the remaining restrictions, which include the mask mandate and other measures related to schools. These measures have already been lifted in Northern Ireland. We'll speak to someone from the north to see how it's been welcomed there, what difference it's made, and interestingly perhaps how many still choose to wear a mask even though they may not be compelled to. And the same will apply down here, of course. On to the Irish Times now. And for those of you who maybe quite proudly avoid paying the licence fee, are opposed to it, this is the television licence fee, and maybe have managed to avoid paying it for quite some time, well, those days may well be coming to an end. What do you think about this? The Revenue Commissioner would be asked to collect the television licence fee in the future under a proposal to be considered later this month by ministers. Now, it is hard to circumvent revenue. The move aims to bolster funding for public service broadcasting, which is RTE, by the way, not us or News Talk or Today FM, it's only RTE, and reduce the numbers not paying the charge, with the rate of evasion estimated to be running at around 15%. The government's expected to reject a recommendation from the Future of Media Commission that the €160 annual fee be scrapped totally and be replaced with direct exchequer funding for RTE, according to senior figures with knowledge of the discussions that have taken place on the issue. Instead, sources expect that the Revenue Commissioners would in future be asked to collect the charge. RTE estimates that it loses out on some €50 million a year in revenue because of non-payment of the fee. It's hoped that transferring responsibility to the Revenue Commissioners for collecting it will dramatically reduce evasion rates. So what do you think about that? You will be compelled to, if you have a television, consume TV from wherever it is, have to pay, or you will face stiff fines, €1,000 or €2,000 for subsequent offences. Right, now on to the Daily Star is what we have here. And Andrew Windsor will never find a way back to public life despite planning to offer to work with sex victims' charities in an attempt to salvage his battered reputation, royal sources have said. Now, this is the person who stated that, well, firstly, there was some underhand tactics in his defence, but also said he was going to go and offer a defence to the accusations against him. An innocent person would be likely to do that, of course. That's what he said he was going to do. I'm not questioning his innocence, but now he's decided to pay off the person who alleged to be his victim. But friends of the Duke last night suggested he's piecing together a plan to revive his public image after making a multi-million settlement to his sex abuse accuser, Virginia Guthrie, who Andrew says he has no recollection of ever meeting. So imagine paying money to someone that you can't even recall meeting. He's 61 and will attempt to reinvent himself, believing he still has a lot to offer in public service. But other commentators said there was no way back, with one branding him reputationally toast. Now, I think although that agreement will be private, I think if I were a British citizen and a taxpayer over there, I'd be saying to myself, well, where is this money coming from? Who is paying it? You know, does he have those resources to hand? If not, is he getting it from his mother? And if he's getting it from his mother, where's she getting it? Is it really the responsibility of the British public to pay for his problems to go away? I imagine that will be the conversation over there over the next few days anyway. The Irish Daily Mirror tells us that Labour has introduced a bill to ban single-sex schools within 15 years. Now, I believe a few of the single-sex schools in this county are already sort of moving in that direction. Do you think it's something that should be sped up and right across the board? But the opposition party believes it's unacceptable for the state to be funding the gender equality situation of girls or boys only schools. The bill would see all state funding removed from any school that doesn't comply with mixed admissions. It would have major implications for the country's private school sector, the vast majority of which are single gender, but all of which get the basic salaries of teachers paid by the state. So can these schools continue to fund themselves only and remain single sex, or is it time that pupils are all genders are taught in the one place? Finally, in the Sun. Now, I was under the naive impression that the Tato company built a theme park. I thought that's what they did, and they put Mr. Potato and all that stuff in there, but apparently they didn't build it at all. It's my ignorance, by the way. Tato Park will have a new name from next year, officials have announced. The popular theme park will undergo a transformation and will have a new identity from January 2023. It's due to Tato Snacks ending their title sponsorship with the attraction from December 31st, 2022. However, it's not currently known what the park, located in Ashbourne, County Meath, will be renamed. Tato Park founder Raymond Coyle said the name will better reflect the exciting rides, attraction and zoo. He said, our partnership with Tato Snacks has helped to create one of Ireland's most popular tourist attractions in little over 12 years. But they want to expand and they want to rename. Maybe Tato were involved in its building. I don't know. It's not something I took the time to research. Anyway, that was a look at the newspapers this morning. Just one more reminder, another reminder for you of the contact details for us. If you wish to get in touch, you can comment on our social medias, or you can text or WhatsApp 086 60 25,000 or call us on 074 91 25,000.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
The newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra, Mountaintop, Letterkenny.
For great fuel deals, contact Gortley Sales and Hire. Large sacks and trailer loads of logs. Also briquettes, coal, kindling and gas with free delivery locally. Contact Gortley Sales and Hire in Letterkenny on 9126276.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. Water flowing onto roads damages the road and may cause an accident when it freezes. or leaves, mud and stones lying about. Donegal County Council reminds landowners and occupiers of land that they are responsible for ensuring water is prevented from flowing onto roads from their land. Checking and fixing drains on your property and ensuring you complete works on your planning permission will help you comply with your responsibilities. Donegal County Council would like to thank the many members of the public who have already carried out this work. Donegal County Council, protecting our communities and environment.
Getting ready for the football season ahead. Visit Brian McCormick Sports and Leisure, Main Street, Letterkenny. Adidas Copa Sense football boots in soft ground and firm ground from only €80. Adidas Classics, Copa Mondial, World Cup and Kaiser Cup SG. Just arrived. The new Predator Edge .1 FG in black. Football boots, gloves, shorts and socks. In store or online. Click and collect on bmcsports.ie.
The new League of Ireland Premier Division season kicks off this Friday night for Finn Harps. The Ballybofey side host Drogheda United in the season opener at Finn Park. Kick-off is 8 p.m. Join us on Highland for full live match commentary. Finn Harps on Highland in association with BNS Credit Union Ballybofey, where their special car loan rate is now on offer. Own your car from the start with a fast, flexible and affordable loan from BNS Credit Union. Visit bnscu.ie or free phone 1800 290 390. BNS Credit Union Limited is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
The award-winning Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic Gweedore offers the most advanced skincare treatments for men and women, treating conditions such as acne, skin tags, rosacea and scarring. As a qualified aesthetics practitioner, Mary Ferry offers a range of anti-aging treatments including dermal fillers, thread lifts, profilo, skin boosters, microneedling and LED light therapy. Hair and makeup also available. Download the Genesis Salon app today or call 07495 325 75.
Highland Radio Time Checks, brought to you by Letterkenny Shopping Centre, the centre of shopping in Donegal. Free parking and shopping all under one roof. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at
9:17. Now, you might remember, I think it was last week, we were speaking to Jonathan Kennedy in Donegal Town. This was after a meeting was called to arrange a St. Patrick's Day parade or some series of events or whatever it might be for Donegal Town. But it seemed like those hopes were going to be dashed, which would break a long-running tradition other than the interference of the pandemic, because very few people turned up. But another meeting was called for last night, and I understand there was a far better attendance, and the parade looks like it is on. Let's find out from Jonathan Kennedy. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm good. Right, I suppose you never know. People say, well, listen, I didn't know the first one was on. I'll go to this one, or we can't let this slide. We'll turn up. You never know until it hits 8 o'clock in the Central. And you had a good turnout.
Greg, yeah, we had a brilliant turnout. We have to say, from 7:45, they started arriving, and we ended up with nearly 30 people at the meeting last night, all guns blazing and willing to do whatever it takes to keep the parade rolling. And we're delighted to announce the parade is going to go ahead March 17th at 3 p.m. in Donegal Town. We're going full steam ahead of this.
Brilliant stuff. And I mean, did you sort of find out maybe why there wasn't such a big turnout the time before? Did everyone think someone else was going to do it? And sort of what really triggered the interest for last night's meeting, I suppose?
Well, I suppose the interest, yes, it's always been kind of, somebody else is going to do it and let somebody else do it, and that's that's not my thing. But I suppose with the interest that was created last week online and on the airwaves with yourselves, it created people and give them maybe a bit of a boost that they needed just to get involved in the community. What we did find last night was there was a whole lot of new people that just moved into the area. Maybe they didn't have an avenue to get involved with the community.
So it wasn't 28 Kennedys and 2 others then, no?
No, not this time. No. We were still a good representation, but no, there was a lot of new members.
Yeah.
And what was great last night was there was 4 gentlemen that have lived in the town for years, or for as long as I can remember, and they have volunteered their trailers, their vans. They're going to take care of all the barriers and the cones, and another group are going to take care of the insurance. Another group, they says we'll take care of the bookings, and the other ones are happy to do marshalling. Some people can only do the morning, Some people can do the afternoon, and some people
it's brilliant to get people there that were interested in providing sort of logistic solutions. That's fantastic, because that's a lot of the work over the next month.
That's all we wanted, Greg, because when it's, as I said to you before, it's an awful lot of work for a few people, but it's not a lot of work for a lot of people. And if we people in there now that say, well, I'm big into IT, well, they're going to look after the booking system of it, and Donegal Town isn't unique in the way that you're crying for help, and I would say there's people listening there today, contact your local, your parade committee. They're on Facebook. Somebody must know somebody, and get involved. And 2 or 3 people makes an awful lot of difference to a small committee. We have 30 here now, and if we get them turn up on the day, it's going to be a lovely day. It's going to be a great day for us to say that we have the help. We know that the marshals are in place. We know that the jobs have been done instead of us worrying weeks and going leading up to it. That this done, is that done? And everybody put their hand up, sign the form. We have all their phone numbers now, so we just have to allocate the work now. And it's going to be so much brilliant. And I'm hoping that this is just a starting point, for Donegal Town. As I say, well, I'll be very biased and say it's one of the top towns in the northwest, and I know you'll probably get a lot of texts to say argue differently. But a lot of people land down there. A lot of people land there for the weekend if they're not living there. So I think you're right. And we've always been there, putting on a showcase in the Diamonds, with the summer festival, with the food festival, with whatever's going on. There's always an atmosphere in Donegal Town, and the visitors do love coming to it. And with the Wide Atlantic Way, it's kind of nearly the first port of call in the northwest.
Well, now Bundoran might have a row with you on that one, but sure, we'll let you away with it.
Well, we'll stick our flag up anyway. But we always had the atmosphere, and people love coming into the town. So hopefully this is the start of people getting involved in their community. And I say, if everybody does a wee bit, it makes it so much easier, and you can achieve so much, going forward. So we're hoping to build on this here. It's positive. Like you say, you always get the ones that say we're telling us how it should be done, but yet not turning up to do it. So we have a group here now, and hopefully that the work will be done, and it makes it so much easier for everybody else. And we're going to build. 2019 was our biggest parade to date, and we're hoping to build on that there. Now it's open out to the schools, to the businesses, and clubs to get involved now to make this as colourful as possible. We'll provide the platform for you. We'll provide as safe a route as possible, and it's up to you now to put in the work now and get involved.
And I think sometimes for those for people who want to, the barrier is that. Is it a closed shop? I know I said this to you last week, but I think it's worth re-emphasise. Will my skill set help? What have I got to offer? I'd like to get involved, but I think too, with what you did on social media and speaking public as well, says, no, listen, the more people, the more ideas, come, get involved. And it's not too late either, I presume, Jonathan, for people to offer any help or to get involved. As you say, could be their first experience of sort of working, within and for the community.
And I think that was our goal all along: get new people in, get new blood in, get new ideas. A committee, if it's doing the same thing repetitively all over, it can get very stagnant, and people get, oh God, and you lose the traction. We're all been moving forward. Like I say, we had hoped to build on a weekend with the long weekends, with the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's probably not going to happen this year, but we will be definitely building on a St. Patrick's Festival weekend and moving forward from here. If we get the enthusiasm that we got last night and they stay with us and they see that it's not like we have a couple of meetings leading up to St. Patrick's Day. You've got the parade on the day, and you have probably a final meeting maybe the week after, make sure everything's sorted out. You have nothing to worry about until 11 months later, so it's not a huge commitment for that committee.
But listen, there's other things can be done at other times of the year as well. If you get the right people. I know the stuff happens anyway, but who said there should be multiple events? Not parades, but
the parade. Even the tidy towns. If we can get people coming in to help out on the tidy towns, get the town spruced up for the summer, and then we have our summer festival, and then please God that the highly successful food festival will return. That's what we're all anticipating with the regulations that that'll go ahead, and everybody's just mad for that there. So I mean, as I say, people listening, they're saying, "Oh, like you said, I'd like to get involved." Contact the Facebook groups there. Everybody's on Facebook, or somebody knows somebody, or contact your councillor, or contact some member of the public and say, "What committee is that there?" And just offer a day. Say, "I'll definitely do a day," or "I'll definitely do that there," and it makes it so much easier for the committee and for the benefit of the community. At the end of the day, it's all about community, and that's what we're all here for.
Brilliant. It's great to have a conversation on a much more positive tone, and it's all steam ahead now for the 17th, 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, we're going to go 3 o'clock. That's what we're going to stick with. Yeah. So,
Any businesses in and around, if they want to get involved, maybe power hose the equipment for that once a year power hose and paint.
Yeah.
And if they haven't done it before, who do they contact? Do you have a contact at this point, or
Donegal Town Parade at gmail.com. Yeah, you have my phone number. You can give it. I don't mind. And anybody, we're all on Facebook. We're all through the Donegal Community Chamber and Donegal Town Business Focus Group. They're all there as well, and the phone numbers are there. I don't have them at hand, but
we'll get them. We'll get them. We can pass them on and all as well. Listen, well done. Thanks, Jonathan. Great to hear.
Thanks for
Take care of yourself. Bye. Right, okay. From one beautiful town to another, Ardra. Good morning to you, Tracy Whelan, watching us in Ardra on social media, and we have Audrey with us and Annie as well, and many others. Thank you very much for joining us in that on that platform as well. Right, we are going to go to our next guest now, and it is Councillor Albert Doherty, and just teasing out more of that story in the paper this morning, the Inish Times, isn't it? Inish Times paper this morning about a lack of Gardaí in Carn to deal with antisocial behaviour. Before we get into that, Councillor Albert Doherty, good morning to you. How extensive is the problem of antisocial behaviour in Carndonagh? Was it a one weekend thing, or is it an ongoing problem?
Good morning to yourself and listeners. Unfortunately, we have had sporadic but consistent incidents of unruly behaviour, antisocial behaviour, be that young people tipping with their cars in the public car park, be that entry into unoccupied buildings, and recently we've had a fire in a building in the main street, Bridge Street, and at the weekend where there were a number of social outlets who were entertaining, issues led to incidents requiring Garda response. Mm-hmm. And the issue for Carndonagh is that we see that the Garda response has to be reactive, and the business sector and the people would prefer it to be proactive. And in 2018, Chief Superintendent McGinn contacted all the councillors in the Shown, asked for views in relation to policing in Carndonagh, and indicated that the reality was that the Garda station was not fit for purpose, and we all agree with that. But what's the response? The response was Garda policing of Carndonagh from Buncrana or Clonmany, and locally that is what is irking the local business and local community.
What is the response time? Before we talk about what the positive impact of a Garda presence would be, what is the response time currently about? If there was an incident in Carndonagh, how long would it, or a report of antisocial behaviour, say for example, and obviously no one is delayed. How long does it take to get to Carndonagh? Occasionally,
quite prompt, be it from Clonmany, where you can have 15 or 20 minutes, and the Gardaí are in your town. Buncrana might be half an hour, depending where patrol cars are. However, we have also had occasions where patrol cars were not available to the Garda personnel, and therefore the Garda himself, herself, were isolated in their station, and the incident unfolding could not be responded to quickly. Now,
you meet with the Gardaí, so you know better. My understanding is that in any of the stations that are actually open, the guards aren't necessarily just sitting in there in the evening. They're out in the patrol cars, that they're mobile, they're moving around. Is that not the style of policing we have now? I mean, or do you want Gardaí sitting in the Carndonagh Garda station?
I understand, Greg. That has to be because our Garda personnel are asked to serve Carndonagh and North Inishowen. So you're not going to go on the beat around North Inishowen. But what I've highlighted is the issues that have been raised by our Traders Council, the issues that I have raised as a JPC member, and now that my colleagues have raised in relation to providing visible community available access Garda in the area. That is something that the townspeople find lacking, and it's assuring for local communities that they know their Garda, and it's assuring for Gardaí when they know who is living in their local community.
Do you think that is practically achievable for every population centre the size of Carndonagh in Donegal, let alone the country? Do you think it's realistic to have a guard of the area who knows what's going on, is a visible face of the force on the level that you require? Do you believe that is actually achievable in all towns, villages of similar size to Carndonagh right across the county, for example?
A very quick response, no.
Right, okay.
But
so it's not a realistic call, though, is it, Councillor? It's popular, but it's not realistic.
No, it's not. But let's look at Carndonagh. It's hosting the municipal council. It's the core education centre for North Inishowen, with close on 1,000 pupils plus at CCS and 6 primary schools. It hosts the Inishowen Livestock Mart. It hosts the Inishowen Cooperative. It's one of the few Inishowen towns that has a banking system active, with banks located, significant business outlets, and a Garda present, not visible, not available. So that's where I have appealed to Superintendent Sheridan, and I've acknowledged to Chief Superintendent McGinn that this issue needs attention.
Okay, so what would be a realistic solution? Are you saying at least one guard in the Carndonagh station 24/7? Are you suggesting that, there should be regular patrols through Carndonagh, particularly at the weekends or evenings, if that isn't already the case? Like, what precisely are you calling on the chiefs to provide for Carndonagh?
First of all, I want a commitment that in the Garda Capital Investment Programme now unfolding, that commitment to restore a fit-for-purpose station in Carndonagh must be put on the roadmap. And that's not something that a Councillor Albert Doherty or my colleagues will do. That's something that the Garda and the Minister and the Government must commit to. And might as well add in a restoration of court services would be welcome for North Inishowen too. But what I'm looking for, and what I'm representing the community for, is that they want a visible Garda presence. And
24/7. Are you on about Gardaí based in Carndonagh, or are you on about?
Yes, I am.
So
yes, I am.
Two or three Gardaí, presumably you're looking at.
Yeah, once upon a time, Greg, a 24-hour service was promised, and for the North Inishowen and the Carndonagh area. Listen, the community has to respond to, we have dereliction, we have unoccupied buildings, we need to be working together, but the local people are saying, Gardaí, we want to know you, we want to work with you, and we want to see you.
Yeah. And you will be meeting with the Gardaí to make these calls. Presumably, you're going to take it up at the next JPC, or are you seeking a meeting outside of that?
Yes, it will be raised at the next JPC, and I await Superintendent Sheridan's reply, who has been more than assisting for us in the past.
And just as it relates to that 2018 commitment from the Chief Super of the time, has that been followed through on at all?
To my knowledge, we have, and Donegal Council has assisted the Gardaí. They have explored potential sites in the Carndonagh, and it's time to move on from the exploration period.
Okay, to the not the enforcement, but the application. Okay, listen, thank you very much indeed. Councillor Albert Doherty, 086 60 25,000. If you're in the Carndonagh area, do you back those calls? I presume anyone, most people, would they not, want to see if there is instances of antisocial behaviour, Gardaí around. Right, age is just a number, okay? I was reading this study. It's kind of worrying. I hope it don't upset anyone. But when are you old? When do you think you would be classed as old? I think it's up to each individual. I think a lot of people feel much younger than they are. It depends on how your health is, though. But is age just a number? Well, age is just a number. Then how old is a person when they're officially considered old? A new study has revealed that old age now doesn't start until we hit 76. Okay, so you're not old or into old age until you're after 76, according to this. But I know there are people listening to this programme well into their 80s, perhaps, who would want to give me a slap for even suggesting such a thing. Well, this is just this research, apparently. The research also found that 38% said old age doesn't begin until you're over 80. Well, my dad was well over 80, and if I'd have said he was of old age, I would have I wouldn't have got a slap, but you know what I mean. He certainly wouldn't have spoken to me for quite some time anyway. 46%, this is what people think though. 38% of people think old age doesn't begin until you're over 80, while 46% insist they feel more able than their parents did at the same age. Researchers also found 40% insist that 60 is the new 40, and 1 in 10 believe they've got more energy than their children. The study also revealed the top 10 things that make you look old while using... Well, I'll read them. Okay, these are the things that make you look old. Skinny jeans isn't on the list, but perhaps it should be. Using cash. Putting a hanky up your sleeve. Now, I have young people in my life do that. Getting bills through the post. Having posh cutlery for special occasions. Is that something that makes you look old? Writing lists with a pen and paper. Smoking. Describing a tune as banging. Okay. Ringing for a taxi instead of using an app, although that option doesn't really work too well for us up this part of the world. Voting leave, so clearly this is a UK audience here. Or actually watching scheduled television. Those are the things that make you look old. So when does old age begin? I think it's up to each individual. I've met people who are 8 and they're like come across as old people, and then met people who are 98 and they are like teenagers. Okay, 086 60 25,000 if you have a view on that.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from 40,000 to 600,000 euro with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
I'm conducting a study of human untidiness, one bedroom at a time.
Sheila, housekeeper. I figure out that, yes, you do have room for dessert. Ryan, waiter.
I love to see you when you've been out late.
Nigel, night porter. They've all been explaining their jobs in their own words on behalf of Northern Ireland's tourism and hospitality industries. Discover hundreds of amazing opportunities in tourism and hospitality right now when you search careerscope.uk.net/NI. Explain them any way you want.
The TUI Live Happy sale is here, with thousands of free child places this summer. Splashing, sorted. Savings of up to €250 per booking. Plus low booking deposits. And the TUI Holiday Promise for complete peace of mind. Here we come. So relax and get booking. TUI Live Happy. Offer T's and C's apply.
Are you thinking of changing your car? Then look no further than Inishowen Credit Union for your finance. It's simple. A car loan from Inishowen Credit Union means you borrow the money to pay for your car and the car is yours. No hidden fees or balloon payments. Apply online at www.inishowencu.ie or contact us on 074 9361017. Membership of Inishowen Credit Union is open to anyone who lives or works in the Inishowen Peninsula. Loans are subject to approval. Terms and conditions apply. Inishowen Credit Union is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Start the new year by treating yourself and availing of the best finance offer available. Driving away in your new cars become even more affordable with 0% finance now available on the all-new Kia Sportage and Kia Ceed range. Call us today to book your test drive on 074 91 345 67 or visit imotors.ie.
The Encourage Wedding Showcase takes place from Friday 18th of February until Monday the 28th. Our ballroom will be beautifully dressed and set for viewing. Fall in love with our stunning location and plan your wild Atlantic wedding. Contact Encourage Hotel Gidor today to arrange a private viewing.
Okay, right. Hi, Greg. Wearing masks was the biggest waste of time ever, believes one caller. The quicker they're scrapped, the better. Never heard nowadays about a bad cold. Everything is COVID. Well, bad colds don't end up with people in hospital. But look, there's lots of nations wear masks to protect themselves and have always and will continue to do so. A caller says Andrew got his money from selling his skiing resort for 80 million. He has a skiing chalet, I think I read somewhere, that's worth nowhere near 80 million. He shares it with his former wife, and I think they were being sued over the head of it. I'm not sure it's worth 80 million or he sold it. But be that as it may, where did he get the money to buy it? Why would you pay a settlement if you're innocent, says Patrick in Donegal. Okay, now, NEFIT are going to meet tomorrow. They are going to remove the mandate to wear masks in schools, which is the most important thing. The shops and stuff, I'm in and out of a shop. It doesn't put me up or down one way or other. But I do know that young people, it's difficult for them to wear a mask all day, especially if they're not changing it and they're not wearing it correctly. All remaining legal COVID-19 restrictions have been lifted in Northern Ireland already. And we'll see what the crack is up there or over there or in there if you're listening from there. Declan Jordan, General Manager of Rosie Joe's Bar and Nightclub in Derry. How are you getting on?
Greg, how are you? Good morning.
I'm all right. Do you call very popular songs in your nightclub bangers? Because that is a sign that you're old if you do, you know.
Right, is it?
So
sometimes, yeah.
Well, no.
I don't call
If
them
Maniac
bangers,
2000 goes on, you can't call it a banger, all right?
I'll try.
Come here. What's the situation in Northern Ireland? The restrictions were lifted on the 14th of February. What was compliance ahead of the mandate being lifted, and what difference have you seen since, Declan?
So there's no longer a requirement to wear face masks and social distancing within the bar now. It's a big relief anyway for more customers and staff, just making sure that we're doing everything right. It was getting very confusing at a stage that because of the restrictions were probably changing nearly every week, and it was just very hard to keep up with and just making sure we were doing things right. You know, you're always worried of an inspection from council or police. And
because even down here, Declan, you know, depending where you are in the county, no one wore a mask in a restaurant environment walking in and out of it. And if you did, you would feel a bit of an idiot, right? And then you go to another part and everyone is, you know, so it can vary from area to area. And also it's going to vary from customer to customer. So confusion, what is the law? What do you have to do in terms of enforcing it? And is someone going to land in and slap you with a fine or something if you don't have everything exactly right?
Yeah, confusion was the big thing. Is just making sure we were doing it completely right, and just keeping in contact with Hospitality Ulster and things like that, just to keep you up to date on things like that. And as you say, everyone's very different in regards. Some people were wearing masks and some people weren't, and especially in an environment that we are in, that it's alcohol fueled, it's just very difficult to control at times. So we're glad to see the back of it.
It's only a couple of short days since. Has there been much of a change?
In a nightclub setting, it's a lot easier. You know, we would have a bar downstairs, a live music venue, and upstairs more of a late night venue. So last night we had, you know, it's a student night, so students were able to come in without having to wear masks, you know, so it's a relief for them and it's a relief for us, because we don't want to be nagging people to be wearing masks all the time, and they don't want us to be nagging them. So it's good. We're just happy to see the back of it now that we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, do staff still have to wear masks, or is there guidance in that regard?
That's something that I'm actually not sure of myself, but we do, you know, we're very much aware that the pandemic isn't over. We do encourage people to still wear masks, or staff were wearing masks last night. So we will continue to push it. You know, we are aware that this isn't the end of it, but it's definitely the beginning of the end.
Yeah, but it feels like great news. It feels like, definitely. You know, the final hurdle has been leaped, because of course it's also an incredibly divisive issue. Outside of this chair, it's up to individuals to do what they want to do. That's always been my philosophy. We'll talk about what the official public health guidelines are, but whatever anyone wants to do is up to them. And I certainly wouldn't have a debate with anyone outside of this room, because people are free to do whatever they want and make their own decisions. But it removes maybe, particularly with the COVID passes, you know, one of the last bits of division. You know what I'm talking about, where we don't want to talk about, we don't want to be spending our time socially pointing fingers at each other or arguing or having differences of opinion, do we?
Very much so, yeah. Especially when the COVID passports did come in, they were a lot later than the South to bring in the COVID passports, and people did find it difficult to adapt to, because they brought it in just in the month of Christmas, you know, and we were very different in the 6 counties regarding the restrictions. You know, when it was 8 o'clock here, we were still functioning properly in the 6 counties and in Derry and Rosie Joe's. So we were finding it very, you know, device in general for people coming across the border and trying to keep on top of the COVID passports. So that it was brought in probably too late.
Yeah, and it's a very, you know, it's a very, very busy environment in any case. You know what I'm on about. Everyone's rushed off their feet. Then to be sort of doing, something like you would see at an airport as part of your night's service it's an awful lot to ask, and it's an awful lot to implement, especially with the fear of someone coming in with a clipboard and pointing in all different directions, saying what he is at. Not saying for just that happen with yous, but that's a potential possibility. Like.
Yeah, 100%, and it's an extra staff member too that you could be using during your period, your busy periods, that you have to lose to be looking after COVID passports and keeping top of the masks and the social distancing.
Or dealing with people that are opposed to it.
Exactly, everybody has different opinions at all times, and especially with the COVID passports, that was probably the most difficult part. The mask and the social distance, and everybody had to do it when they were inside. But when you're at the front door asking for a pass before you can enter, that was the difficult part. And as I say, it probably came in far too late in the north. It should have been in before, at the same time as the south, basically, to get people to get the grasp of it. But it's over now, thank God.
Yeah, and we'll focus on the positive. Just in your own opinion, chatting to people and being in and around people, do you think we could ever go backwards on this, say heading in towards next winter? There's no conversation about that at this point, and I don't want to even sort of, but I just wonder, do you think people feel, right, we did everything we were asked, we're not going back there again, Declan? Or do you think if the circumstances were such, people might?
I've been in the hospitality trade all my life, and I was here from the start of COVID, and hopefully now this is the end. And this is the first time during the whole pandemic that I've been 100% sure I don't think we'll ever go back to any sort of restrictions. What happened at Christmas, as we all seen, there was a massive COVID outbreak everywhere, and if we didn't start closing then and more pressure put on us than there was previous, I don't think we'll ever go backwards on it now. We rode the wave, as you say, and we got through it. And if they didn't do anything regarding restrictions then, I don't think we'll see anything ever again. I think this is the end of it. And I'm happy enough to say I'm 100% sure on that.
Okay. Declan, the best of luck with everything at Rosie Joe's Bar and Nightclub in Derry. Are you still seeing a lot of people coming across the border? You'd have seen more maybe when there was a difference with restrictions. But there's always going to be
It was absolutely massive, the amount of people coming across at Christmas time. It was, and that was me seeing it firsthand for the first time, the people coming across. I don't see it much now. Everything that's back to normal in the south. So that should have been the thing from the start, but not as much now, but definitely over Christmas.
All right, interesting insight. Thank you very much, as always. That's Declan Jordan there, the General Manager of Rosie Joe's Bar and Nightclub in Derry. A caller says, I have reported a number of incidents of drink driving to a number of Garda stations in Inishowen. The car was driven for 10 miles after I witnessed the car leaving. All they wanted to know is, what's your name? And to the best of my knowledge, this person has never been stopped. And another caller says, what's the insurance arrangements on these fabulous greenways if someone takes a tumble and fractures an ankle and wishes to seek redress? Who has responsibility for the greenways? Is the state 100% liable? And what happens if someone gets attacked by farm animals en route? Just wondering. Coming in from Patrick. We've discussed that in the past, obviously, because landowners don't want to end up having to find themselves being responsible if someone jumps a fence, for example, and turns their ankle in a hole. I'll find that out for you if you want me to. There are rules and regulations and indemnities and all that kind of stuff in place. And finally, just before a quick break, windy weather last night. Yes, it was around about 4 o'clock. It was blowing a gale. God knows what's going to come this evening and into tomorrow. But this caller says they now have for sale 3 trampolines and 7 wheelie bins.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Every year in the GAA, something unique happens. First-class rivals suddenly become first-class teammates. Fierce inter-county foes turn into friends, and yesterday's opponents now have each other's backs. Grudges set aside, all of the best club and county players from every corner of this country line out in their college or university jerseys to play together, challenge together, and win together. It can only be the Electric Ireland Sigerson, Fitzgibbon and Higher Education Championships.
Save up to 25% on your shopping at Kelly Centre in Letterkenny. In store, you'll find a huge range of great tasting, own brand products, fresh produce, including fresh meat and frozen foods, along with all your day-to-day needs. Say yes to savings every day at Kelly Centre, Mountain Top, Letterkenny.
If the medical experts get it wrong, everything changes. From misdiagnosis or delayed diagnosis to surgical injury or even poor treatment. All have physical, emotional and financial consequences. We're here to help. So if your treatment didn't go according to plan, speak to our experienced medical negligence team at McElhenney and Associates. Find us online or call 074 917 5989. McElhenney and Associates Solicitors, Stranorlar. In contentious business, a solicitor may not calculate fees or other charges as a percentage or proportion of any award or settlement.
Inland Fisheries Ireland is looking for seasonal fisheries officers to join our teams around the country. Our officers play an important role in the protection and management of Ireland's rivers, lakes and coastlines. As a seasonal fisheries officer, you'll implement and enforce legislation to help conserve these natural resources. If you love working outdoors, whatever the weather, and if you're happy working shifts that include evenings and weekends, find out more at fisheriesireland.ie/careers.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Thinking of a sun holiday this summer with the family? Fly to Alicante, Malaga, Faro, Mallorca and Milan with Ryanair. Ireland West Airport, you're flying.
Okay, so becoming very windy today. Showery outbreaks of heavy rain will extend from the west during the morning, tracking eastwards, bringing risk of spot flooding. West to southwest winds will increase strong, very gusty, reaching gale force or strong gale force on exposed coast with some coastal flooding possible. Highest temperatures today almost irrelevant, 8 to 12 degrees, but turning cooler in the afternoon as rain clears to those blustery showers. Good morning to you, Carmel, watching us in Dublin. Good to have you on board. When will we start? When will work be starting on Lifford Hospital? A lot of people use the service and need to know when the work will be getting started. Now, is this the improvements work or a new build? Because that's not going to happen until after the next census. A caller says, Greg, you're so old, you didn't know Letterkenny cabs have an app for over 4 years. Right now, listener, I want you to sit down because I've got some shocking news for you. There's other places outside Letterkenny that don't... that would not maybe have the app, or maybe they do. But fair play to Letterkenny cabs. But not every part of the Northwest can you book a cab using an app. The only time someone is old now is when they enter a medical hospital, as many in nursing homes often opt to do so for company and safe, secure living. It's you feel those kind of comments in your chest. It's sad to think that could be the case. Another caller says, I feel I'm getting old at 50 plus because my arthritis makes me rest a lot. Okay, that's sad to hear. So delighted to see that the donkey, which had been living in terrible conditions along the road I travel every day since last summer, has been moved, especially with these two big storms coming. Greg, re-wind warning. Do you think we'll have schools closed up here? I don't think so, because it's a red weather warning will close schools. There's mock exams ongoing. I think it's orange, isn't it, for the Northwest. They won't close the schools unless it's red. And as I say, there's no indications that's going to happen as of yet, because by the time tomorrow morning comes, the worst of it will be behind us. So if it were to be red, it would probably be red overnight. So I would say schools will be open tomorrow as scheduled. But we'll keep you up to date, by the way. Don't take that as fact. A caller says, you're old when you are no longer able to look after yourself. Well, I wouldn't say that too, because there are people that we all know that may have carers with them, and they would give out to you severely if you says that they were old. A caller says, there were 2 confirmed cases in my daughter's class, but as long as my child tested negative, they were still allowed to go back to school. So I'm sure it has the same for all schools. There's a slight difference between a close contact in the school setting and the caller we had at the start of the week. Their close contact would probably have been outside the school setting, according to the regulations they were following. My daughter was a close contact. She's doing her mocks as well, so we tested her every morning before school and she was negative, so I sent her on. Maybe I didn't do the right thing on this, but the guidelines are not straightforward, and I thought there was no close contact. As I know, a school were ringing home to take your child home to test them. If negative, send them back to school. If positive, keep them at home. Again, it depends if they're a household contact or a school close contact. Greg, I was going to text you on the mock exam. I have family teaching and I just mentioned to them, school sent the papers home, spoke with parents and students to make sure that maybe someone supervised or that the student agreed not to copy. Went well. All students didn't feel left out. It's very subjective, dependent on the children too. There's no one size fits all in that matter, but thank you very much for your feedback and doing a bit of research for us. Andrew Windsor, his payout is similar to the compensation paid in Ireland to victims of clerical abuse, both ultimately financed by Joe Public, by taxpayers and church plate collections, no matter how it is dressed up as otherwise. Another caller says, if a shop puts up a notice to say, regardless of the guidelines by the government, we're enforcing face mask wearing, would this be our legal choice and right for our business? A shop is a private space. I can't imagine. I think you'd be at a competitive disadvantage in doing so, to be honest with you. I think there is a momentum of direction, and I think if a shop were to do an individual system like that, they might find themselves disadvantaged. You can't. I'm not sure of the legal standing. I mean, have you the right to refuse people as is? If you have, presumably that could be extended to mask wearing. I don't know the private buildings, but I can't see there being a huge appetite for that. Another report, this is as it relates to the latest scandal facing Donegal. Another report, one thing proven of over 100 years of the Fine Gael Fianna Fáil administration is they love reports and reviews but rarely learn from them. I am just waiting the next scandal to pop up of incompetence, corruption, poor management, oversight and structures. Hi, Greg. The lady you had on the programme is talking nonsense yesterday. If people are put in a position of trust, this I presume is as it relates to the minister, if people are put in a position of trust, you would think they would have qualifications to do so. She's saying they don't what they should be doing. They don't know what they should be doing. Well, if that's the case, they shouldn't be there. That comes in from John. Another, Minister Rabbit speaks, as a mother, we need more women in cabinet, and we do, and we need action to follow the sympathetic and understanding words. That's what's very, very important, because there's a lot of anxious people out there, a lot of distrust and lack of faith, and that needs to be restored. Radio, you are tuned to your number one local radio station, Highland Radio, the biggest market share of any station in the country, local or national, and that's thanks to you. We're back with another 2 hours after the news and obituary notices at 10.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Mortgages now available with a personalised service from your local and friendly credit union. Email mortgage@letterkennycu.ie.
You were sitting on a busy train. An elderly woman got on, and even though you were tired, you gave her your seat, because it's in your nature. You know who you are, but we don't. Please get in touch and become an SVP volunteer today. Visit svp.ie. Thank you.
Are you switched on to your energy rights? If you're worried about rising energy costs and are having difficulty paying your gas and electricity bills, you should contact your supplier. Energy suppliers are required to assist customers in genuine financial difficulty and can put in place payment arrangements, such as pay-as-you-go meters or payment plans, to help you better manage your gas and electricity bills. For more, go to cru.ie. Brought to you by the Commission for Regulation of Utilities.
Do you need a little extra help staying in your home? At Bluebird Care, we offer a wide variety of QMark-approved personalised home care services across Donegal. And our fully trained and committed staff will always meet your care needs with kindness, compassion and dignity. To get your personal home care assessment plan, visit bluebirdcare.ie or call our care team today on 07491 29562 and bring care home.
Your specialty is quality tiles, bathroom suites and wooden floors. Who is the best range of tiles in Donegal?
Crawford Tiles.
The best wood flooring?
Crawford Tiles.
The best bathroom suites?
Crawford Tiles.
5-day bathroom refits?
Crawford Tiles.
And who's been tampering with my questions?
That'll be me.
Crawford Tiles, Castlefin. That'll be them. 07491 43942.
New this week in Home Store and More. All artificial plants are half price. But better hurry, because when all our half price artificial plants are gone, they're gone. Also, all frying pans are still half price and all fitness is still half price. But when all our half price frying pans and all our half price fitness are gone, they're definitely gone. Order online before 2 p.m. for next day delivery or drop by your local Home Store and More. Home Store and More. A happy home.
All your effort, all your exam cramming, all your drive, all your natural ability, all your can-do positivity, all your wildest dreams and one-day claims, all leads you to one place, Allstate, where career opportunities are endless. Have it all at Allstate. Search allstateni.com today.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donal Kavanagh at the news desk. The laws mandating face masks to be worn in shops, public transport and schools are expected to be dropped. NPHET will meet tomorrow and is expected to replace the rules with guidance urging people to continue to wear face coverings. Ulster GP Dr Dennis McCauley chairs the Irish Medical Organisation's GP committee. He believes this move would be premature.
Masks prevent you getting disease. So I think there's this debate whether it should be mandatory or whether it should be manners. I think it should remain mandatory for a bit longer, and then after a while it can just be manners to wear one. But I think we're still in the winter.
A woman in her 40s has died after an incident involving a vehicle in County Sligo last night. It happened on the N15 at Moneygold Grange at around about 10:15. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Traffic diversions remain in place this morning and Gardaí are appealing for witnesses. Taoiseach Micheál Martin says a scoping exercise is being prepared to address concerns over safeguards in HSE residential centres for disabled people in the northwest. It's after the health watchdog HICWA noted a very serious incident regarding the online behaviour of a resident at one such centre in the region, which is believed to relate to the viewing of child sexual exploitation material. In the Dáil, the Sinn Féin President Mary Lou McDonald says once again a question mark has been put over the HSE's ability to safely provide services. She called for the fast tracking of safeguarding legislation. While responding, the Taoiseach says this is being addressed by the relevant bodies.
The Department of Health is now preparing the terms of reference for the scoping exercise to strengthen safeguarding practice. And for the work and meetings are to take place between the Minister and the Department in respect of that. In terms of legislation, I'll come back to the Deputy.
The 2022 St Patrick's Day Parade in Donegal town has been given the green light. The festivities had been thrown into doubt in recent weeks after a poor turnout at an initial planning meeting. Just 6 people attended, 3 of them from the same family. There was a much bigger attendance at a further meeting last night. The event is due to take place at 3 o'clock on March 17th. One of the organisers, Jonathan Kennedy, says they're still interested in hearing from people who may want to help out.
People listening, they're saying, like you said, I'd like to get involved. Everybody's on Facebook, or somebody knows somebody, or contact their councillor, or contact some member of the public and say, what committee is that there? And just offer a day. Say, I'll definitely do a day, or I'll definitely do that there. And it makes it so much easier for the committee and for the benefit of the community. At the end of the day, it's all about community, and that's what we're all here for.
Storm Dudley will bring long spells of rain, spot flooding and very strong winds over the next 24 hours. A status yellow wind warning is coming into effect at midday for the entire country. That will last nationwide until the same time tomorrow. However, in Donegal it'll be upgraded to an orange warning tonight. Gusts of up to 110 kilometres per hour are forecast for exposed coasts and also on higher ground. Well, preparations are being coordinated by the state's weather response team, which is due to meet again this afternoon. Met-Éireann forecaster Jerry Murphy says that once Dudley is over, Storm Eunice is following hot on its heels.
On through the latter part of Thursday night and Friday, we have another storm depression moving very close to us, Storm Eunice, and that has the potential to bring very strong winds, mainly to the south of the country. But as well as that, as it tracks over us, there is a significant chance of some snow over much of the country through Thursday night and Friday. The highest amount of snowfall is most likely to be over central and northern parts.
And looking Looking at the weather forecast for today, becoming very windy with patchy rain and drizzle, showery outbreaks of rain moving right across the region this morning. West to southwest winds increasing strong and very gusty, hitting gale force or strong gale force on exposed coasts with some coastal flooding. Highest temperatures today of 8 to 12 degrees Celsius, but it'll turn cooler in the early afternoon as the rain clears to blustery showers. Continuing very windy tonight, but the winds will start to ease toward morning. However, remember there is an orange warning in place for Donegal tonight, so the winds could get very strong in places. Lowest overnight temperatures 0 to 3, coldest in early morning. A windy start to tomorrow Thursday morning, but west to southwest winds will decrease moderate to fresh and gusty through the day. Good sunny spells developing with some scattered showers of rain, hail, sleet and snow. Highest temperatures tomorrow 5 to 8 degrees Celsius. That's Highland Radio News. We're back with news again at 11 o'clock. Until then, from the news team, good morning.
The obituary notices for Wednesday morning, the 16th of February. The death has occurred in Australia of Joseph Gallagher, formerly of Ardlahan Clohan, brother of Seamus and Eugene Gallagher. Funeral arrangements to be confirmed later. The death has occurred in Perth, Scotland, of Eileen Ward, formerly of Bunawillan, Kincashla. Her remains are arriving at her home tomorrow, going to St Mary's Church, Kincashla, for approximately 5:30, where she will repose overnight. Funeral Mass on Friday morning at 11 o'clock, with interment afterwards in Belcritch Cemetery. The death has taken place of Jimmy Bradley, Liscarna House, Carnamugga, Letterkenny, and formerly Listillion, Letterkenny. Jimmy's remains are reposing at his late residence. Funeral from there on Friday morning at 10:15, going to St Eunan's Cathedral, Letterkenny, for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass, which can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. Interment afterwards in Conwall Cemetery, Letterkenny. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of flowers, if desired, to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member. Family and close friends are welcome between 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. The death has occurred of Maureen Temple, Tyrcallan, Stranorlar. Her remains are reposing at her home from 2 o'clock today. Funeral leaving her home on Friday morning at 10:30 for Requiem Mass in the Church of Mary Immaculate, Stranorlar at 11 o'clock. Interment afterwards in Drumbo Cemetery. Family time, please, on the morning of the funeral. The Requiem Mass will be streamed live via the parish webcam. The death has taken place of Rosaline Green, Greenbank, Quigley's Point. Rosaline's remains will repose in St Columba's Church, Drung, from 4 o'clock this afternoon. Funeral Mass will take place tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, followed by burial in the adjoining graveyard. The funeral Mass can be viewed live on stcolumbasdrung.net. The death has taken place of Marcus McLaughlin, 58, Millbrae, Buncrana. His remains are reposing at McLaughlin's funeral home, Buncrana, with viewing from 6 until 9 o'clock this evening. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 9:30, going to St Mary's Oratory for 10 o'clock Requiem Mass, burial afterwards in Cockhill Cemetery. The funeral can be viewed online on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Joseph McGill, 3 St Michael's Terrace, Creasla, and formerly of Glasgow. His remains are reposing at his late residence. Wake from 12 noon to 10 p.m. today. Friends and neighbours welcome. Family time on the morning of the funeral, please. Funeral Mass tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock in St Michael's Church, Creasla. Burial afterwards in Doe Cemetery. The Mass can be viewed live on mcnmedia.tv. Family flowers only, please. Donations, if desired, to St Vincent de Paul, Creasla, and the dialysis unit, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member or James Harkin, funeral director. The death has occurred of Margaret Hennigan, ní Farley, Woodhill Ardra. Her remains are reposing at her late residence at Woodhill. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 20 to 11, going to the Church of the Holy Family Ardra for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. The death has taken place of Donna Boyle, ní Dunyan, Kentucky Ardra, and formerly of Barnesmore, Donegal Town. Her remains are reposing at her late residence. The house is strictly private but will be open to the public from 12 noon today. Funeral from there on Friday morning at 10:30 to the Church of the Holy Family Ardra for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Family time please from 11 p.m. to 12 noon. And the death has taken place of Robert James Boyd, 42, Cranogue Park, Strathfoyle. Funeral leaving his late home at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon for 2 o'clock service in Glendermot Presbyterian Church, followed by burial in Ballyone Cemetery. Family flowers only please. Donations in lieu, if wished, to the Foyle Hospice. For more details, including any family health guidelines for wakes or funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Highland Radio.
All children aged 5 and over are being offered a COVID-19 vaccine. Their vaccine will help to protect them, and the rest of the family too. The advice from the World Health Organization is that the COVID-19 vaccine is safe for children this age. So if you have questions about their COVID-19 vaccine, we have answers you can trust. To register or for information, visit hsc.ie. From the HSC.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Caller says, just a comment on removing the masks. If we all remove the masks, and I can assure you we'll go back and back at a rapid speed too. As I said at the beginning, the mask is our only weapon on the virus. Time will tell, as they say. You see, if all masks are removed, what happens? Listen, thanks for your comments. I respect it and appreciate it. A lot of people would disagree. The science perhaps would disagree as well, but I respect your view. Greg, you're old when you see more of your doctor than you see your children. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. But the doctor's there to make sure, you get old. Isn't that the case? Right. Now, read dogs on beaches. I'm infuriated to hear comments about banning dogs from beaches. There is one simple solution. Keep your dog on a lead and clean up after them. If appropriate facilities were provided for disposal of dog waste and human waste, we'd not have this issue. Be a decent citizen and think of others. Clean up after yourself always. Well, look, if we want to be part of the Blue Flag Club, we've no choice. We had a derogation. That derogation is over now. So whether we like it or not, if we want to have Blue Flag status, we are going to have to go ahead and introduce those bans. All right, I know a lot of you are waiting patiently for the bingo numbers. It is not jackpot day. Today's Wednesday, not Thursday, so that's a 6-day week for me now. I've got my days mixed up. Right, today's Wednesday. Here are the numbers. Good luck if you're playing. Stay with us. An interesting topic for you just around the corner.
It's time for NCBI Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Wednesday the 16th of February. You're playing on the blue sheet. The reference number is S13. It's game number 7. The numbers are 72, 32, 14, 17, 45, 6, 63, 43, 19, and finally 23. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your NCBI bingo information at highlandradio.com.
The 9 till Noon Show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages with life cover provided at no additional cost. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
You are 4 times more likely to be involved in a collision if you use a mobile phone while driving. The penalty for using a mobile phone while driving is an automatic 3 points on your licence and a €60 fine. This includes holding a phone in your hand or supporting it with another part of your body when you are driving. Mobile distraction can impair your judgment and reaction time. You're mobile. It won't kill you to put it away. From the Road Safety Authority and on Garda Síochána. Visit rsa.ie.
For great fuel deals, contact Gortley Sales and Hire. Large sacks and trailer loads of logs. Also briquettes, coal, kindling and gas with free delivery locally. Contact Gortley Sales and Hire in Letterkenny on 9126276.
Smith's Staleside offer a range of coarse and pelleted feed, including premium munchie ranges for lambs, designed to entice the lamb senses, increasing intakes and maximising performance. Call Smith's Staleside on 074 9171 300.
Looking for an easier way to get your prescriptions filled? Look no further. With our new Brennan's Pharmacy app, you have a simpler, faster way to manage your prescription orders. Just download the free Brennan's Pharmacy app from Google Play or App Store, fill in a few simple details about yourself and your medicines, and you're all set. From prescription ordering, daily medicine reminders, to messaging our pharmacy team directly, it's all at your fingertips with our new Brennan's app. Like to know more? Why not call your local Brennan's Pharmacy today for more information? We're here for you.
New this week in Home Store and More. All artificial plants are half price. But better hurry, because when all our half price artificial plants are gone, they're gone. Also, all frying pans are still half price and all fitness is still half price. But when all our half price frying pans and all our half price fitness are gone, they're definitely gone. Order online before 2 p.m. for next day delivery or drop by your local Home Store and More. Home Store and More. A happy home.
Central Auto Parts really do stock everything for all makes and models of cars. Shocks, springs, wipers, mats, brakes. Need I go on? And now stocking Celimix and Sunny Car and Commercial Paint. Central Auto Parts, Portlink Road Business Park, Letterkenny. Find us on Facebook or call us on 074 9127 491.
Highland Radio Time Checks, brought to you by Letterkenny Shopping Centre, the centre of shopping in Donegal. Free parking and shopping all under one roof. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at...
Okay, 16 minutes past 10. We welcome on to the programme political correspondent, Sean Defoe. Good morning to you, Sean. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. And you?
I'm doing good. Right, Neffet a meeting tomorrow, but the cat seems to be already out of the bag. It's a fait accompli. Is it face masks for shops, public transport and schools are to be a thing of the past for the time being at least?
Certainly looks like it. It's always one of these strange ones where Neffet has not met and Neffet hasn't made any recommendations or actually decided anything. But the politicians who speak to Neffet and who talk to each other behind the scenes are all kind of laying the ground for this to happen. So ministers and officials that I spoke to over the last few days, all pretty confident that things are going well at the minute, that there hasn't been a big spike in cases that we might have thought there would be when everyone started socialising again and the last lot of restrictions were eased, and that it's safe to go ahead with the next phase of reopening, which would be getting rid of face masks on shops and in public transport and in schools as well. So Neffet meeting tomorrow, but very much politically they're expecting that they'll give that recommendation, and then I suppose the decision is whether the politicians act this week. I think the Taoiseach is due to be in Brussels for an informal European summit tomorrow and Friday, so it may well be next week before an actual announcement or decision is made on when that's going to be lifted.
You know, those opposed, say for instance the face masking schools are very vocal in their opposition, but there perhaps is an equal, if not larger, group, perhaps less vocal, who believe they should be retained in that environment. But if they're going in schools, if they're going in shops and on public transport, they're going to go in schools as well then, are they?
I think so, yeah. There was a bit of a discussion and a bit of thought that maybe there would be another phased element to this, that you might get rid of them in shops, for example, but keep them on public transport or keep them on schools. And the schools one is kind of an interesting case, because I think if you talk to a lot of people, they'll say, it feels that the pandemic is over or certainly ending. And then if you talk to teachers and parents in particular, they say, no, actually it's not, because there's still quite a lot of cases in schools and quite a lot of people out, and we know, we released figures this morning actually to say that in the 5 to 11 year old age group, for example, only a quarter of those children have registered for a vaccine, and about 100,000 of them caught COVID over the Christmas period and have some immunity to that particular method, if you like, or by dint of having caught it. So it is one where, I mean, most of us thankfully don't have to wear a mask for the full day. You know, a lot of our jobs allow us to wear it walking around or wear it in certain environments, but not for the full day, whereas they do in schools, and it is still spreading. So there's obviously a big question mark there, but it seems to be that NPHET is going to come down on the side that, look, it is spreading, but it isn't as severe.
Yeah, but if you look at the official stats, Sean, you know, there's no COVID in schools. That's what history will reflect, because I think the latest figures showed very little, if any, cases in schools, yet we all know that that's happening. So I suppose it depends on if you're counting the cases or not, and you make your public health advice based on the figures.
Yeah, but the figures in schools have always been counted wrong, or else just not counted at all. It's been a real glaring hole, and it's been this sort of thing that, you know, you talk to the politicians and say, oh no, schools have to find the data shows us that, but we're not counting the data in the right way for it to show us. And a lot of the cases that were in schools were counted as community transmission, but there was no way of ever being able to tell that. How do you know if a child caught the virus in school or caught the virus at home? Either way, they brought it into school with them. So the stats from that point of view were a little bit of a joke. I think what you're going to see really from the government over the next while is that they will strongly recommend that they're worn in schools. I wouldn't be massively surprised if there was kind of a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a tailback here to keep them on in schools, but I think the unions maybe might go in a sort of a different direction. But there certainly will be a big campaign, and the Taoiseach is probably going to lead it, because he said he will keep wearing his own mask, and that the advice would be, look, if you don't feel comfortable or even just keep other people safe, wear your mask, but it's not going to be a legal requirement.
And Sean, just remind us what you suspect the timeline might be. I mean, obviously they could do it overnight if they wish, but you believe NPHET will make the recommendations tomorrow, and the Taoiseach might wait till the following week to make an announcement?
Yeah. It's a difficult one, because the Taoiseach is away from tomorrow afternoon, but this I don't think would need a full cabinet approval to do. The Health Minister could do it on his own, so it's entirely in the realms of possibility that after NPHET's letter arrives maybe tomorrow evening, the Taoiseach could be in Brussels. It'll obviously be leaked, because these things are always leaked, and then on Friday there may be an incorporeal, or there will be a chance for a Taoiseach to phone into a cabinet subcommittee meeting or something like that. So the pace recently has been to get these things done in time for the weekend, because the information is out there anyway. But if they want to do a big formal set piece, then I imagine they may have to wait till next week.
All right, listen, Sean, thank you as always. Sean Defoe there, political correspondent. So that's the direction of traffic. But there's a few people standing in the middle of the road with a stop sign. Perhaps amongst them is Dr. Dennis Macaulay, chair of the Irish Medical Organisation GP Committee. Good morning to you, Dennis. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Well, you see, the thing is, right, if you're out in society now, I mean, you do see most people wearing them shops, but in pubs, the pubs are packed. No one's wearing masks. The restaurants are packed. The nightclubs are wedged. Teen nightclubs are running absolutely wedged. And then we have this rule where children sitting in a classroom have to wear masks. What is the reasoning for you thinking that a lifting of this mandate's a bit premature?
I think that when you look at children, particularly the uptake in the vaccination of the over 12s has been very good, but it hasn't been full from the uptake of the vaccine from 5 to 11 is good. It's sort of 25%, which is fine. So they're not a fully vaccinated group, and they are more likely to spread it because they're at school. They're not vaccinated. So I think it's quite a simple measure. My view is that winter isn't over. Winter is over. I would always say the end of March. So the choice is really, there's a choice between whether a mask should be mandatory or whether it should be manners. And I think that even when it isn't mandatory, an awful lot of people will continue to wear masks just out of respect for others. So for the sake of an extra month, when COVID is still, I suppose the important thing is COVID is still here. It's a very much an actual community disease now. But if you look at the numbers in the hospital, there's over 600 people still in hospital. We were quite happy when it was 500 before Christmas. There were still quite a lot of sick people there. A lot of vulnerable people. If they get sick, they will end up going into hospital. The number in ICU is dropping, but there's another subtle number. There's 164 people who are not in ICU but who are invasive ventilation. So there's COVID is still here. Winter is still here. The spreading of viruses will continue until the end of March. So for the sake of keeping masks mandatory for another month, I agree. It's beyond. I was asked my opinion about it this morning. I actually gave it. I think that mandatory element does add a small percentage more of people who will wear their masks and will decrease the spread. We're not talking about a mask.
And you're the medical professional, and I respect your opinion, but I think there's a general acceptance, right, that the vaccine doesn't stop you spreading it. That's why Moderna are about to start, trialling in the UK the next vaccine. Okay, that's different to this. The adult population, 95 plus vaccinated. The adult population getting on with their lives, speaking in nightclubs and talking to each other's ears, kissing each other, having the fun and everything. And yet we've a cohort of young people wearing the same cloth mask that they probably should be changing numerous times every day anyway, touching it, pulling it down above the nose, rising it up. I mean, is there any real medical argument for them to be the only ones effectively now wearing masks, especially if they're not being worn as they really should be to be, effective?
Yeah, listen, I think it is a marginal call. I agree with you. I think that from the point of view of if it changes, if NEFIT agrees with it, if they feel it from a clinical point of view, I think that's fine. They would know more than I. But today we think that's a good idea. We think that this group, which are generally not as vaccinated as the general public, who are spending numerous hours in classrooms together, spreading it. We are aware of a lot of schools that are still a lot of people absent, actually because of that. So if wearing a mask an extra month is mandated, allows the child to stay in school longer, so that he won't lose. He won't actually have further disruption to his education. Mm-hmm. Remember that they feel that there's about 450,000 school children. 100,000 may have got Omicron. 200,000 would have got Delta, but unfortunately they can get Omicron again, unfortunately. So for the sake of their education, for the sake of then this very marginal effect, we know that if we can reduce the spread in children, the general spread throughout the general public lessons also. Yeah. There's been a slight increase in COVID this last couple of weeks because of the increased mixing. I agree with that. I think it's time to actually do this. But I think the numbers are still significant. And if an extra month of mandating the masks sort of makes the tail of this disease continue to stabilize and go down, I think it's a sensible.
Is there though? You talked about it.
Is it essential? No. Is it a good idea? Yeah.
Okay. You talked about it being a marginal decision, right? When you factor in though, not just the spread of the disease, but when you factor in their ability to smile at each other, to laugh at each other, to sit in a classroom and to feel normal, to maybe even, in their advantage, to pick up other germs that are knocking around, okay? Does that not tip it in favour of the removal of this for this small...
Well, if you get into that sort of level, then what happens? I agree with you, that's good. But what happens then, what happens because it's not mandated, the student who decides to wear it, because he's a wee bit nervous, he's now isolated. He will be, in a way, that has a negative. If you're going to go into that granular level.
I would hope that, though, a 5 or 6 year old is not going into school feeling nervous about COVID. I mean, I think things should have been explained.
No, but if he has a medical condition and he has to wear a mask, he has potential because it's not mandated. I'm saying, what's wrong with you? Why are you wearing a mask? And that can do. If you go down to that granular detail, I can go down to that.
I understand that, but I hope that there are people in classrooms that are different for all different reasons, and I would hope that our school system is as mature to the point whereby we know how to handle that in a school setting, regardless of how they might be a little bit different from others.
Greg, I think I agree. I will be delighted when winter is over. I'll be delighted when the figures are down. I'll be delighted to see children not having masks around their chin at lunchtime. I would be delighted. But just the numbers are stable, gradually going down. They went up a little bit with the relaxation. That's acceptable. I think that if you remove the masks, there will be another increase again, on top of the graph going down. I think for an extra, it's always a month, isn't it? But I think we always think as doctors, winter is over at the end of March. Yeah. That's it it is a sensible thing to think about. If NPHET decide otherwise, I won't lose sleep over it. But I do think that, if you ask my opinion on it, that would be my.
And
my,
I did. And I respect it.
And I actually gave it. And I actually gave it. And I'm quite comfortable to be overruled by.
How long are you going to be chair of the Irish Medical Organisation? I would say
unfortunately for another year.
Okay.
I hadn't done an interview for a month. It was class, and now I've done 4 this morning. So I think I'll just keep my mouth shut.
No. Listen, hey, you're speaking to, and this is the one thing that in any issue we talk about, you're speaking to and on behalf of an awful lot of people that share your point of view, worried parents, people with vulnerable people in the house. We have to respect all people's views and have us, represent those people that have that fear as well. And that child that you talk of, that person exists, and they've got worried mums and dads, and be worried too about how it would affect them emotionally being the only one in the class. And I understand that, Dennis, and I hope you know I understand that, and I appreciate you coming on.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Take care of yourself. All right. That's Dr. Dennis McCauley, Chair of the Irish Medical Organisation GP Committee. As I say, it's not a topic we discuss extensively on this programme much, but obviously when a big decision is going to be made that affects a lot of people tomorrow, it's one that you can't ignore. A caller says, you're getting old when you have more toes than teeth. Okay, right. Oh, I have one tooth missing. I have 2 teeth missing. I have 2 teeth. The grand tooth, that one that costs apparently about €1,000 to get replaced. It's called the grand tooth. But currently more teeth than toes as it stands. Isn't it great to see even a member of the royal family being scrutinised and challenged publicly, whereas in Ireland the establishment and media close ranks whenever one of their own strays? I understand the point you're trying to make. I think they've closed ranks over there. No one is speaking about it. No member of certain media and certainly members of the British royal family are speaking on it at all, playing it down. What's gone on is absolutely shocking. Hi Greg, regarding older people, my father was 79. We wanted him to go to the day centre twice a week where older people meet and have dinner and play cards, but he said and told us that was only for old ones, so probably depends how you feel. It does indeed. It does indeed. Hi Greg, I'm seriously thinking of looking into the possibility of trying to get the broadcasting law, which underpins the TV licence, struck down. This wouldn't abolish the licence, but would make it voluntary, just like Sky, Virgin, TV Now packages. This decision has nothing to do with politics, religion or prejudice, but with the fact we can't buy a piece of electronic equipment without paying a penalty subvention to an entity that I may never engage with. I agree. I neither can access or watch RTE. It's not a big deal, right? I don't watch much scheduled TV anymore. And if I want to watch a lot of the programs on RTE, I can watch them on ITV2 or 3 or 4. Or wait and watch them on Netflix or whatever, the likes of Love Hate or the other shows. I don't need to watch. I can't sit down and watch scheduled TV. My life doesn't operate that way. But I have to pay €160 to fund it. And the problem, I don't mind that, but it's the wages too. The wages, people getting paid €600,000 for a 1 hour show or whatever it might be. It's obscene in a country where people are struggling, that the people that are telling them about their struggle they never have to worry about money. They don't have to worry about money. The wages do not fit the set of skills, okay? Because there's people operating in the independent radio scene, doing the exact same work, providing the exact same service, and are on normal wages, the wages that, relatively normal wages, not big, high-paid jobs. Where is the justification for the wage bills that are being paid out of that 160? I mean, I think I worked it out one time that it takes much of Letterkenny just to pay Ryan Doherty's salary, for example. Who's very popular, by the way. His programmes are increasing in popularity. That's great. Great for him, great for their station, of course. But my point is that, it takes much of Letterkenny just to pay one person's salary. It's to me, it's crazy, but people seem okay with it. Right, okay. Marina says, well done, Greg, in calling out the farce of masking children all day at school every day whilst everyone else socialises in pub nightclubs, hugging and kissing if they're lucky enough, I suppose, Marina. Good morning to you, Magella, watching with Marina, as is Eugene McGeever, who's watching us from Britain, I believe. He's predicting a windy day tomorrow and Friday. Right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back with a piece of music after these messages. Stay right where you are.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Now offering MyCU current account and debit MasterCard. Bringing full banking features. Delivered with the same local trustworthy service of your credit union.
Nutrius Milk Replacer range, which includes NutriStart and NutriStart Plus, offers the best start to your calves this spring season. With 23% and 25% crude proteins, ideal for calf to beef and heifer rearing systems. Give your calves the best possible start. Available at your local Homeland store. Visit nutrius.ie for full nutritional information.
In harsh winter weather, Watson Hire have all you need to stay safe and keep warm. There's great deals on coal, Calor gas, firewood and heating oil with free local delivery. Also electric, fan, halogen and oil-filled heaters. See in-store and the fuel store at watsonhire.ie. Great offers on winter clothing and boots. And for any hire items, there's still the weekend hire deal of 3 days for the price of one. All at Watson Hire, Kiltoy, Letterkenny, with free parking at the door.
Which is why this collaboration...
Oh, hello?
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry, you're breaking up there.
Am I... Hear me?
No, you're gone, I can't.
Connection troubles? If you run a business, you need reliable broadband to help you grow, not hold you back. Vodafone Business Broadband, with always connected technology, business level care, and walkout working installation guarantee, ensures your business stays connected. Drop into your local Vodafone store today and ask your business advisor. Vodafone. Together we can. For full terms, visit vodafone.ie/terms/business.
Travelling to Dublin for business from the 26th of February? Fly with Aer Lingus from Donegal to Dublin from $29.99 one way. 2 flights daily. See aerlingus.com. Offer subject to conditions and availability.
If you're getting married, the in-house design team at BizPrint can get all your wedding stationery and signage customised to your requirements. Just visit weddinginvites.ie or call BizPrint at Port Road, Letterkenny on 9177 955.
Need a new part for your Ford car or van? Why not call to OMS Auto Parts in Buncrana? With a massive stock of Ford parts, you're sure to get the part you need. Free next day delivery on orders over €50. Call 074 9361924 or shop online at omsautoparts.ie.
Caller says, I totally agree with Dr. Macaulay. Face masks should be retained in certain settings. There's more COVID now in my teenager's school than there has ever been. Another, we're not out of this yet. Lots of pupils from my son's school contacted COVID-19 while out at the weekend. Lots of his classmates off school yesterday. And just before music, Roy and Betty Beattie in Castlefin, a very happy wedding anniversary to you. That comes in from your mum, Katie. Okay, that is the Ronettes there and Be My Baby. Greg, give the ESB workers a mention after returning the power in Carndonagh yesterday. They get little thanks for being out in all kinds of weather, and no doubt will be out lots this evening. Well, we hope we give them plenty of shout outs on this programme, but I take your point, and they will be busy this evening and for the next few days, no doubt. Okay, I'm joined in the studio now by Brona Burke. A very good morning to you, Brona.
Good morning. How are you
Thank
doing?
you very much for joining us. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad.
You've been through a very difficult time, Brona.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell us what happened?
So I've been on a kind of grief journey, if you want to say, for the past 7 years, nearly 7 years now, on the 27th of February 2015, where I lost my daddy suddenly. Through a cardiac arrest, and life was, picture perfect, to be honest with you, up until that point. So that was really the start of my kind.
Was that your first real experience with grief? I know there'll be aunts and uncles that sadly pass away, but that was your first sort of experience
definitely.
of grief. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it was
hits you like a wrecking ball, doesn't it? Especially your dad.
No, definitely. Like, I was very fortunate, that I hadn't really lost anybody significant really in my life. But my daddy was, the pain of losing my daddy was just absolutely horrendous. Going forward then for over a space of them 5 years then, I was just happily got married. I had a set of twins, Adam and Aoife. Life was kind of going back again, it's kind of as that picture perfect life as we all try and have, and life was good. Then on April 23rd of April 2020, my husband died suddenly with a cardiac arrest as well. Same situation as my daddy.
He was a very young man.
He was 29. Mm-hmm. He was a big footballer. At one stage he played for Derry. He had his cap with Northern Ireland. He played for Ballymena United, and he's a big athlete.
And when you're thinking of, and it would be inevitable after going through the loss of your father, well, maybe you might be different, but you wouldn't think who's next as such, if you know what I mean. But
exactly.
You'd be sort of preparing yourself that, right, I suppose this is a reality when you hit a certain age. The last person on that list through a major medical event that you probably thought you would lose would be your big, strong, healthy husband.
100%. Like, I thought with losing my daddy that, hopefully I'll not get no more hits for, until old age. Or, my husband's name is Thomas, but I call him and always have called him Berkey. So Berkey, there was no symptoms, there was no warnings, there was nothing, and the same with my daddy too as well,
nothing to prepare you or to indicate.
There was nothing at all.
And should I call him Berkey as well?
I call him Berkey, yeah.
Berkey died in your presence, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Right, which makes it even more, I'd imagine, or maybe it depends how you deal with it, but you're trying to save his life. Are you comfortable talking about that experience?
I can go on to it about, as I said, I wasn't there when my daddy passed, but I was there for the aftermath afterwards. My daddy ended up going to, emergency department and went on the resus. They tried to save him, but he was gone. Berkey's was, we were in the midst of lockdown. We were just locked down in the March 2020. So we were petrified. We didn't know, it was the unknown really. That kind of way. We didn't know what was kind of going to happen. We both worked in the health service. I was working night duty. Berkey was working day duty. We were, just trying our best. And as I said, we went out and got our groceries that day. We went on a walk with the twins, did our exercise. I did my exercise, and then Berkey did his exercise later on that afternoon. As normal as the way it always be. Berkey came home then and instantly said he wasn't feeling well. But Berkey would have been the type of person where he would have trained. When he trained, he pushed himself to his absolute limits. So I wasn't alarmed at that stage.
Drink some water or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I actually said to him was, get a couple of jelly babies, you'll be all right.
Get some sugar into you.
And that was the norm with him. He would have came in and said, oh my God, I really pushed myself or whatever. So nothing was alarming to me at that stage. I said, go up and get yourself a shower and which he did. Adam and Aoife, we were all in the kitchen. Adam and Aoife, my twins, they were sitting eating their dinner. They were watching the TV. Berkey came back down. He had his dinner. Everything was okay. And, you know, again, he was saying, I really don't feel well. But at this stage, he looked different. My mammy's a staff nurse. So I rang my mammy and I says, Mammy, he's saying he's not feeling well. And he's shouting in the background at me, I'm grand, I'm all right, you know, I'm all right. Just typical man, you know, like, you know, I'm all right, don't be fussing about me, you know, that kind of way. So that's what I did, and, you know, that was the last words that Berkey spoke. Berkey then went and did instant cardiac arrest. Adam and Aoife were both there. I had to perform 13 minutes of CPR. And it was just really traumatic. But Adam and Aoife were superheroes that day. You know, I told them they run out the street, they call for an ambulance, they call the ambulance down. We were in a brand new build estate too as well at that stage. So we didn't have many neighbours around us, you know, and they banged in the neighbours' door. You know, they were by my side the full time. They were only 3.5 when it happened. But they really, really were the superheroes that day. When I was on the phone to my mama to tell her to come down before I rang 999, my mama came down and she did the last 2 minutes of CPR. And then the next thing, we're back in resource again.
Obviously, I mean, was it a massive cardiac arrest?
Yeah,
it was
both the exact same.
Right, really?
Yeah.
Okay, and they're not related, obviously.
No, they're not related, no, but, you know, it was both started in their right arteries too as well, and it's hard to believe, you know, it's, you know, then we're sitting here now with this another loss, you know, how do we, you know, after that, we were in the height of a global pandemic, and, you know, grieving through a pandemic was probably and is one of the most loneliest times of my life.
And also, how do you how do you deal with it in terms of, you know, two really important people taken from you? You know, what did you find or do you find yourself saying, well, what's next? I mean, if life can throw that at me, well, really, I can't allow myself not to be waiting on bad news all of the time.
Absolutely. Do you know, you would, you know, some days I'd be crippled with the unknown, crippled with the fear. Do you know, but I've learned now to deal with that in a better way because, you know, we don't know what life we're going to be truly given.
But equally, do you find yourself then worrying about your own health?
Oh, of course, absolutely, because now I'm the only parent. Do you know, I'm a sole parent now, do you know, to Adam and Aoife, and that terrifies me. Do you know, it really, really does.
You have to break up to your emotional time or your actual time with making sure you're okay and making sure they're okay.
Yeah.
Because you have to be okay for them to be okay.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Absolutely. Do you know, and at times, you know, as I said there, it does cripple you, but, you know, you just have to learn to adjust to this new, bizarre, new normal.
And in terms of this happening during the pandemic, and you described how it was such a lonely space, what did the pandemic take from you, you know, that if it was outside of pandemic would have been different? Was it people calling around? Was it a funeral? Was it, I don't know, like, why did it feel so lonely, particularly?
I think, to be honest, I said we were in the height of a global pandemic. Everybody was absolutely petrified. There was such the unknown, you know. There was no talks at this stage, at the very, very start of, you know, getting your jags and whatever. So it really was the unknown. Berkey's funeral was very, very different the way what us Irish people normally have wakes and funerals. We were counted 10 into the chapel.
Right, okay.
Do you know, Berkey was wild. Coffin was wild. He was never allowed to be, you know, his family members were never allowed to lift him.
I mean, even in the sports world, the people that would have wanted to be there and give him a certain type of send off.
And even they left him that sense of pride too as well, that, you know, that was savaged away from him.
With a shock like this, and we're going to talk about your podcast, which is proved incredibly popular, and I can understand why. In terms of actually coming to terms with it's actually happened, how long did that take, or did that happen instantly? Because it's such a shock. No, the actual passing of Berkey, that that actually happened.
I'll be really honest with you, I still think he's going to come through that door today. Yeah. Do you know, it has not happened. Like, it took me 5 years to accept the loss of my father. It was a really rocky road.
Which Berkey would have helped you with
100%,
as well,
and I leaned on Berkey for that. Berkey seen the strikes of anger, the emotions, the sadness, the pain. Berkey seen all that. And, you know, Berkey's seen a lot behind closed doors that not anybody ever else would have seen. But that was in February 2020 where I actually accepted the loss of my father. And then 2 months later, I'm sitting, you know, the loss of Berkey. So I'm being honest with you, it hasn't hit me. Do you know, it hasn't at all. Do you know, I feel like I'm in that, and people who know about, who have lost a loved one through grief, you do be in that grief train sometimes.
And you have to decide how you talk about him to your children.
Absolutely.
Do you talk in the past tense? Do you talk like he's ever present? Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff that you have to work
snippets,
for.
To be honest with you. You know, you're trying to, the Adam and Eve now, they're 5.5. Do you know, we're nearly 2 years into this now, and you know, you're trying to talk them in a child-friendly way too as well, but also give them the reality that their daddy's not coming back.
Yeah.
So it has been a really rocky road with that too as well. And normalising that, this, you know, all their feelings, and it's okay to feel sad, and it's okay to laugh about a moment that you had with your daddy, and you know,
and those little moments when they come back from school and one of their classmates been talking about something they did with the dad, and they can't fully process why they can't have that experience, even though they know exactly what's happened.
Oh, definitely. Like, even like, so Adam and Eve are in primary 2, and they're learning how to read. And some of the books that they've came home with is talking about dads. And Adam and Eve can be very frustrated with that at times. But it's just learning to know, you know, they...
You know, it's not in any way funny, but it's a strange one. But Cocomelon's on an awful lot in our house.
Yeah.
And some of the songs is "My Mommy is the best,"
yes,
or "My Daddy is the best,"
yeah.
Or they're lucky to have 2 or 3 siblings. And I'm not saying for in any second it should be cancelled or whatever. No. But it does put you in mind of what that might be like then for a child. It doesn't explain.
Absolutely. Like, that's not the reality. That's not 100%.
Yeah.
That's not the reality to me, to be honest with you. You know, that picture perfect life is not the reality of it. Do you know that people, there's, you know, could have lost of a sibling, you know, of a parent, whatever. This is the reality. Do you know, and I think that shouldn't be sugarcoated either. Do you know?
It's also the reality that an awful lot of people experience. And this podcast that you've started, the timing's interesting because you've an awful lot way to go yet if you ever get there.
Absolutely.
But you also want to help other people going through the same thing. And your first guest is your mum, and I find that fascinating. I want to talk about that. But I want to talk about why you decided to start this podcast, which, as I say, has got loads of traction already. Yeah. Memory of Me, it's called, by the way. You can get it on Spotify, and we'll tell you where else. Why did you start the podcast?
I think, to be honest with you, so... when after Berkey passed, my thing was then that I just went to Instagram and I just spoke openly and honestly, and people related to that. People related to the vulnerability, they related to the rawness of that too as well, and they get it. You know, people, it might not have lost of a husband or a wife, but you know, there was people who would have lost of a miscarriage, you know, a divorce, whatever type forms of grief there was. You know, people really related to me through that. And it got to a stage where the messages were coming in, you know, thick and fast, and you know, people were just constantly, you know, just wanting to express their story and say their story and stuff like that, or you know, what would you do, or things like that. So I just had some type of light bulb moment in November, and I was like, why not make a Sunday podcast? Why not let people say their truth? Why don't people say the reality of their loss and honour that person? Or, do you know, or if not even alone that, like I actually, an episode came live there this morning. That's not about grief. It is about grief, but it's about a loving grief. It's about a separation of a marriage. Do you know, and the grief, that's a loving grief in itself. So there's all different forms of grief that people have related to me. So I just thought, you know what, why not?
Yeah, I've spoken to people separated who describe themselves as a widow.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, the person is lost. They might not be gone, but they feel like they're a widow. And also, too, this is in society. You know, people don't have an awful lot of space for other people's emotions.
Yeah.
Pull yourself together. Be strong for the kids.
Yeah.
Life goes on.
Yeah.
You'll find someone else. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So what happens is people retreat into their grief, don't they?
Yeah. 100%. Like I've see them words that you said. Like I've had some of them. Do you know, I've had times where even the likes of when I was burying my father, like I had, and people meant no malice on it at all whatsoever. But you know, I was about to bury my father, and people were saying, "Don't you be crying now? Don't you be getting upset? You know, this is, you know." But that was the old school ways. But I never meant. I had, you know, I wasn't annoyed or at anybody for saying that, because Do you know, that was the old school ways of grief. Is, do you know what, you get on with things, this is that. Do you know, that person's dead now, you know, just get on with your life. Do you know, that kind of way?
So your first guest, Brona, we're talking to Brona Burt, by the way. She is responsible for Memory of Me. It's a podcast. Your first guest was your mother.
Yeah.
Your mammy, as you call her, Siobhan, who, you've lost your dad, she's lost her husband, she's lost a son-in-law, you've lost your partner.
Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic.
It is.
Because did you learn stuff about each other's grief in that conversation?
Absolutely. There was moments where, you know, my mommy was very honest and very outpouring in her, and you can get it as well on YouTube and you know, with Spotify. But she got very emotional at times, and it was very heartfelt. I think, you know, at times I was talking back because I was like, oh God, we might not say these things each day to each other, but you know, this is what we're going through.
Yeah.
And I think it was giving people the reality of, do you know what? This is what we're dealing with daily.
And there's an element of counselling to it as well.
Absolutely,
I
it's therapy.
Yeah,
it's complete therapy. It's free therapy. It literally is.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and my mommy really, my mommy felt the love this week. We've been inundated with messages, myself and my mommy, and you know, it's all positive. And you know, I think that people are just enjoying the reality of this is what we're dealing with each day, and the co-parenting side of things too.
And when you lost your dad, your mum had to deal with her grief and be strong for you as well.
Yeah.
Presumably that puts a lot of pressure on. And would you grant your children wouldn't have been born at that point, but anybody else that's in the family. Do you know what I mean? So did she talk much about that? I didn't get a chance to listen to it.
Yeah, she did. She spoke very openly and very honestly, because I'll be honest, part of me has died too, and my mommy has lost a lot of that too as well. So she has. So, you know, she was very honest about it. She spoke openly about now her co-parenting. You know, she's never going to be Berkey, nor do we ever want her to be, but she's now become the next parent.
Yeah.
Do you know? And
she's another adult figure in their lives.
She is, and she's a huge part. Like I've been honest, I can't do this on my own. I find I struggle with just being, you know, the one parent. So I do rely on my mama a lot for, do you know, to help me out with stuff. And stuff like that there, but you know,
and she's getting something from that as well.
Absolutely, and it's just the reality of that too as well.
So your first guest was your mama. You talked about your next guest. They're talking about a separation. How far will this go? Because I think, you know, when you recognise that grief doesn't have to be a death.
Yes,
it opens it up.
It does
very, very wide. So I mean, did you realise it would be so popular? Obviously, you already had quite a bit of traction with your lack of sugarcoating of the reality on Instagram, so you probably knew the audience was there. Where are you going to go with this, do you think?
I don't know, to be honest with you. At the start I was originally just going to record 5 episodes, then I said, I'll do 7. Now I'm sitting on, I've recorded 10. I'm probably going to stretch it to 12. But you know, I really don't know. To be honest with you, this was a form of healing for me. I never went to any form of therapy. I haven't been offered anything as of yet. I'm on a waiting list a mile long, and that's nothing to do with the health service. It's the fact of the global pandemic and everything else going on with it. So I wanted to relate to people, and I wanted to know that it's okay to feel these feelings, and you know, it's about building a community that it's okay to, whatever feelings comes and goes, it's the waves that we have to go through, and
how we talk about it. You know,
absolutely.
And you mentioned, you know, a loss of a baby, a miscarriage. You know, we still haven't really figured out how people can talk about that comfortably.
100%.
We still haven't really figured out why you don't tell anyone you're pregnant till you're 3 months.
Yeah.
Why don't you?
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm about? Like, why
100%.
don't you? Because
Absolutely.
there is this thing that we can't discuss potentially if it's a lot. You know, there's so much in there.
Oh, definitely.
I never got my head around that. Why do we have to wait for 3 months for that? And then the pressure it puts on, you know, people who might lose a pregnancy later on, and there's probably a podcast in that in and of itself. But anyway, right, okay. So there's a Facebook page. It's called Memory of Me. What's your style? What is your presenting style like? Do you just treat it as a chat at the kitchen table, or
that's what
do you interview, or you're conversing?
I know,
or what do you
we
do?
just either, you know, people come to myself. You know, I have signed up as well with a guy down in Swords down in Dublin, Primal Pro Dan, And so I would record some episodes down there, down in beside Dublin. And if I'm not doing there, you know, I have a guy in Derry who is on the road with me too as well. And we just, wherever you want it, like one of my episodes was recorded down in Buncrana Beach. I'm like James Corden, you know, but I just went with the flow with that, you know.
Sounds brilliant. It sounds like, you know, it sounds like it's a great thing to be part of as well.
Yeah.
Listen, we wish you all the success in the world with it. It's called Memory of Me. It's dedicated to anyone who's ever felt pain or loss of any form, and it's how they feel. It's not how society says what is pain and what is loss.
Yes.
It's how they feel. And its presenter is Brona Burke. You can watch some of them on YouTube, or the audio on YouTube?
They're all on YouTube, on Memory of Me YouTube channel.
Okay.
And so you can watch now my Mammy's episode 1, and a girl called Mary Kyo's episode now is live this morning at 9 a.m.
And how often are you releasing them?
Every Wednesday.
Brilliant.
Every
so
Wednesday
subscribe
at 9
as well to those platforms. And
perfect.
You can... All right, listen, thank you very much,
Thank you so
Brona.
much.
It's been lovely speaking to you.
Oh, brilliant.
All right,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, still another hour to come on the 9 till noon show. Stay right where you are, but at 11 o'clock we cross over to the newsroom now, and it's good morning to Catherine Gaffney. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Greg. Good morning. Regulations requiring face masks to be worn in shops, public transport and schools are expected to be dropped. NPHET will meet tomorrow with the current rules set to be replaced with guidance urging people to continue wearing face coverings. Serious concern has been raised over what's been described as a lack of Gardaí to deal with antisocial behaviour in Carndonagh. It's understood there were several instances in the town over the weekend, and Gardaí from elsewhere had to be called in to deal with the situation. Taoiseach Micheál Martin says a scoping exercise is being prepared to address concerns over safeguards in HSE residential centres for disabled people in the northwest. It's after the health watchdog noted a very serious incident regarding the online behaviour of a resident at one centre. A woman in her 40s has died after being hit by a vehicle in County Sligo last night. The crash happened on the N15 at Moneygold and Grange at around 10:15. Traffic diversions are in place and Gardaí are appealing for witnesses. The country's largest public sector union is warning there will be significant implications for public services and industrial relations if the government does not open public sector pay talks by May at the latest. Forsa say the current agreement, which was first agreed in December of 2020 at the height of the pandemic, has not kept pace with inflation. Storm Dudley will bring long spells of rain, spot flooding and very strong winds over the next 24 hours. A status yellow wind warning comes into effect at midday for the entire country and is due to last until the same time tomorrow. In Donegal, however, that will be upgraded to an orange weather warning tonight. And the St Patrick's Day Parade of 2022 in Donegal town has been given the green light. The festivities were thrown into doubt in recent weeks after a poor turnout at an initial planning meeting. Just 6 people attended, 3 of which were from the same family. However, there was a much bigger attendance at a further meeting held last night. That's it for now. We're back with more at 12 noon.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Catherine. Right, now we're going to be crossing over very shortly to Donegal County Council to find out what preparations or what they might be expecting as it relates to the storms over the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that. And we want your questions now also for David Foley. This is part of Wellness Wednesday. He is taking your questions on alternative remedies. So if you have something that you would like to see if an alternative remedy might help, get your questions into us now. It'll get busy when David's actually on with us, so if you want to make sure as best as we can that your question's answered as it relates to alternative remedies, call us now. Caroline's taking your calls on 07491 25000, or you can text or WhatsApp 086 60 25000, answering all your alternative remedy questions.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages with life cover provided at no additional cost. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
I used to play football here when I was a schoolgirl. Now I'm here coaching the next generation. Being a Garda means thinking quickly, being active and loving the excitement of not knowing what's around the corner. but it also means working as part of a team, guiding young people and helping keep people safe. You'll have plenty of skills that could help you be a Garda. You might not know what they are yet, but they're there. Apply to join as a Garda trainee by the 16th of March at publicjobs.ie. On Garda Síochána, the difference is you.
The Northwest Independent Clinic is now Kingsbridge Private Hospital. Yes, we have arrived in Ballykelly, and if you need treatment or surgery, there is no need to wait. At Kingsbridge Private Hospital Northwest, you will have access to over 300 consultants and hundreds of treatments and services. We are approved by all major insurance companies and self-pay options are available. In fact, treatment could cost less than you think. And with guaranteed 5-star care from treatment right through to your personalised recovery plan, we will be with you every step of the way. So why wait? Visit kingsbridgeprivatehospital.com today.
Sheridan Security now introducing Zero Wire Smart Alarm Systems. Zero wire, zero mess, and a real peace of mind. With a simple press of a button, your alarm can be set or unset, or download the free app and control it from your phone. Call us today on 074 912 6025 and get your alarm from €299. Stay local, stay safe, and protect what you value most with Sheridan Security Systems.
Hi guys, David James here, and I'm just checking in with you because although I'm away at the moment, our February Fit Club is still running, and I'm still running or walking whilst I'm away. I promise you that I am, and I hope you are too. Don't forget you can still donate online at www.highlandradio.com, and all proceeds are going to Rocco's Road to Recovery. As I said, you can donate now online at highlandradio.com.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Ronaldo, De Bruyne, Cavani. You can now see both Manchester teams in action with Ryanair's twice-weekly service to Manchester. Ireland West Airport. You're flying.
Becoming very windy today. Showery outbreaks of heavy rain will extend from the west during the morning, tracking eastwards, bringing a risk of spot flooding. West to southwest winds will increase, strong and gusty, reaching gale force or strong gales on exposed coast, with some coastal flooding possible. Highest temperatures in the afternoon of 9 to 11 degrees. Now, of course, this wind and storm that's coming at us is coming at us too, while the tides are quite high. So that might leave an element of extra vulnerability to parts of our northwest coastline. Gary Martin's Director of Emergency Services with Donegal County Council. Gary, thank you for holding. Good morning to you.
Morning, Greg.
Right, so in terms of preparedness or what to expect, what is the Council's position at the moment this morning?
Yeah, we've been preparing, I suppose, over the last few days, Greg, looking, I suppose, at the evolving weather situations. As you know, we have two storms coming in, one named Dudley, which is effectively the first vestiges of it we're seeing through the windows this morning, and that'll have the greatest impact tonight into tomorrow, and then Thursday night into Friday, then a second storm called Eunice. The first storm, I suppose, is very much revolving around wind and possibly high tidal conditions. And obviously in a Donegal context, we're quite concerned in areas that are prone to coastal flooding when you have large volumes of rainfall in the rivers, strong storm surges, high tide conditions, and then strong prevailing winds. So that's the biggest concern that we have. And we've been working with the National Directorate for Fire and Emergency Management in Dublin, who have been advising us, I suppose, across a range of different areas. And we've responded, I suppose, by taking some precautions. We've advanced deployed sandbags at areas that are prone to flooding in locations around Donegal town. We have our fire services and road services, I suppose, in advanced state of readiness in the event of having to respond to localised flooding or local issues that might arise. And we also have civil defence on advanced state of readiness as well. So we're reasonably well tooled up for the first one that's coming in. As I say, as I look out the window here in Donegal town, at the moment it's teeming at the moment, and we will see quite extensive rain over the next number of days as well, which could potentially exacerbate the situation.
Yeah, and in terms of fallen trees, which if they cross the roads, I presume there's some responsibility there with the council, but in terms of sort of fallen power lines or broadband lines or whatever it might be too, their repair might be complicated then, as well as the team's work, and we know they work excellently, with the arrival then of the second storm, because we can't send people out in dangerous conditions. Now, that's worst case scenario. Let's hope it doesn't pan out like that, but that has to be forming sort of part of our preparations too.
The most important thing, obviously, is the preservation of life, and really what we want to do first and foremost is for people just to urge caution in relation to the weather events that we're seeing. You know, if you absolutely have to travel, give yourself some additional time. Don't be forced into having to drive maybe a little bit faster than you should be in the conditions. So, really, really urge, just be cautious while you're out on the road.
And on the roads this morning, thankfully, I think we're going to see the worst of it overnight, but that means the school drive or the commute or whatever it might be in the morning, you never know what's around the corner.
That's right. Be aware of the risk of debris, down trees, down branches and so on and so forth. And obviously, there's always the risk of power lines being down. So just, at these times, you just have to apply an extra degree of caution as you go about your business.
Any car park closures or anything like that happening?
No. Thankfully, we have nothing along those lines. We have a further meeting this afternoon with the National Director for Fire and Emergency Management, and we will have a further severe weather assessment team get together after that, and we'll respond then accordingly. I suppose the biggest challenge as we have today, it's a combination of rain and wind. The concern for Storm Eunice, which is coming in Thursday night into Friday, is quite strong winds as well, but probably more concentrated in the south of the country. In the northern part of the country and in the northwest, there is a risk of additional precipitation, possibly sleet and snow conditions. But again, it was a little bit far out when we were getting the detailed forecast yesterday. So we'll be issuing further advisories today and tomorrow in relation to that as well.
All right, now, some people contacting us concerned that potential flooding in the Burnfoot area. Is that on the radar for the council as well? You mentioned Donegal Town.
Yeah, there's nothing presenting at the moment in relation to potential flooding there. As I said, it's a confluence of events that normally gives rise to these issues: the high tides, the direction of the onshore wind, the large volumes of rainfall and the catchment, and so on and so forth. And I suppose when all of those come together, we're really, really concerned. But obviously, at the moment, we're just observing it more so than anything else.
Okay.
And if it's seen to escalate, then we will respond accordingly in the areas where the risk is greatest.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Gary Martin, Director of Emergency Services with Donegal County Council. Personally, for me, I wouldn't be parking in a couple of the car parks on the coast overnight in any case. But anyway, storm already brewing up here in beautiful Ardara. Okay, all right, stay safe if you can. No, stay safe regardless if you can, of course, unless you have to be outdoors. It might pass over and not be quite as significant as we fear. Right, Brona, plenty of reaction. I'm just going to bring you a few of the comments. Greg, that lady is very brave. I lost my son 21 years ago and it still upsets me, and my father dropped dead in front of me and that still hurts today. God bless to that lady. Indeed, look, you're going to be locked into those memories. It could be a sound or a smell or a visual trigger that will bring you right back to those moments, I'm sure. Listening to Brona and her mammy's podcast, cried and cried. God love them both. God bless them. So search Memory of Me on YouTube if you want to watch them. And you can cast them like you can this programme or elements of it later when we cut them out and put them up. We cast them up onto your big screen too. Most TVs now allow you to cast or Facebook watch or YouTube on your many people have smart TVs or a Chromecast. That lovely woman Brona is a breath of fresh air talking about grief and the love of her dad and her husband. Okay, listen, thank you for that. We're going to be talking alternative remedies. Okay, so if you've got something that ails you and you think that there might be a natural solution to that or something to assist you, we've got a gentleman in with all the answers. So if you've got questions on alternative remedies, if you've got something that you think there's something out there that might be able to help you in conjunction with traditional medicine, if that's the right phraseology, get in touch with us. We'll get those questions to David. He'll be joining us shortly.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering MyCU current account and debit MasterCard, bringing full banking features, delivered with the same local trustworthy service of your credit union.
Wet n Wild is a local family business fully stocked to keep you safe and warm in, on or even under the water. With Zone 3 swim wetsuits, dry robes, life jackets, kayaks, subboards, swimwear, scuba and snorkeling equipment. With friendly, experienced staff to assist. Kit yourself out now, while stocks last at Wet n Wild.
Hi, Raymond Sweeney here. If your vacuum cleaner has seen better days, call in to us at Ben Sweeney Euronics for a look at the new Samsung Turbo Cordless Stickback. This lightweight, easy to control vacuum cleaner picks up fine dust in carpets and on hard floors. With a 40-minute battery life and a massive 150 watts of suction power, it is now available for €299. Ben Sweeney Euronics, Port Road, Letterkenny, and the shopping centre Dunlow.
Ben Sweeney Euronics. We deliver, we install, we care.
Dear Daniel, ever since you burst out of Donegal and onto the music scene, I've been your biggest fan. And when you came to visit, I could have died. And when you offered to fix my boiler, I could have died, Daniel, because you're not a registered gas installer. I'm returning all your albums and my rhinestone-studded I Love Daniel jacket. Goodbye forever, from Mary. P.S. Daniel, you can find your local registered gas installer at rgii.ie.
The good times are back. The highly acclaimed Joe Dolan Show Remembering Joe is back in Letterkenny for one night only. And what a party it will be. St. Patrick's Night, Thursday, March 17th, eve of the bank holiday at the Clanry Hotel. The spectacular show starring brother Ben Dolan, nephews Adrian and Ray, niece Sandra, Karen Carroll, plus the original Joe Dolan Band will have you rocking and rolling in the aisles at the Clanry. Celebrate our national holiday in style. Tickets now available at the Clanry Hotel, 0749124 369. Remember, there's no show like a Joe show. Always a sellout. Book now.
The Groom's Room at Evolve Clothing in the Letterkenny Retail Park has the best value and selection in suiting for your wedding day.
It was a sunny morning, Dad said. He'd been to Mass. There was talk about the march, whether it would go ahead or not. The priest had told him to be careful and to keep an eye on the young fellas.
I was 22. First tour. We was edgy. We was told to expect trouble.
You were the trouble.
We were. Ready for anything, that was us. They don't train you how to deal with when you come back home.
Some didn't get to come back home.
An incident with Dave Cotter. A new play about Bloody Sunday at the Ballard Theatre, 23rd, 24th of February.
Love can conquer fear. When you already struggle, shocks like COVID can be devastating. In East Africa, everything just shut down, and Wubit was left with no way to feed her children. That's when Trokra provided a sewing machine and training to make face masks. Now Wubit has a new skill she can use to provide for her family in the long term. To find out more about how women have conquered fear and gained independence, visit trokra.org/change. Trokra, until love conquers fear.
Now, you're very welcome back to the programme. It is Wednesday, so our Wednesday Wellness Wednesday feature today focuses on alternative remedies. We're joined by an expert in this field, David Foley. Alternative remedies, is that the correct terminology?
Yes, that's a very good... complementary too is often used.
Yeah, complementary medicine, I think. Yeah, that's the one.
I prefer, actually.
You do? Okay. Yeah. It didn't... Alternative remedies just didn't sound right to me. Complementary. Where is the work that you do? And people texting the questions now, 086 60 25,000, as it relates to traditional medicine. I suppose that's another term I believe is correct. You know, is it to complement that? Maybe sometimes it's an alternative, but the advice is always, you know, if you've got something wrong with you, go and see your GP, I presume.
Yeah, I'm a great believer in science, but I also believe in tradition, you know. So the tradition, has been going for thousands of years, really, basically. So there's many things out there, and most of our remedies would be kind of food-based, basically, you know, they're herbs and things like that.
And there's a science to that as well.
And there's a upcoming science for that, you know. So they actually often complement each other very well, actually.
Okay. Well, listen, we'll get to a few questions and then we can talk more generally, if that's okay, David. A listener wants to know, is there anything you can take to assist with sleep?
Sleep it's a big problem. And, you know, since the COVID, sleep insomnia has gone through the roof, actually, because anxiety can be a great factor with sleep or insomnia. So, you know, there is many things. Like valerian is a very good herb. Valerian has the ability to, you know, just to calm the mind, shut down. So, you take valerian, if you wake up in the middle of the night, I'd sometimes use it myself. If it was something on my mind, you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can't get sleep, you take a shot of valerian. It just shuts down the
valerian.
Valerian, yeah.
Okay,
Valerian.
Valerian, okay. And is that a sense of its anxiety? Is it a sense, right, I've done something, I can sleep now? Or does it actually have, I'm sure it does, a chemical impact on your body?
It does, yeah. It works with GABA receptors in the brain. But in actual fact, on all herbs, in actual fact, we often find that, you know, that in actual fact, the science is kind of catching up with what it does because we're discovering. So it's one of the factors. It seems to have many factors. And it actually, it kind of like, you stop these thoughts rattling around your mind. You know, you wake up in the middle of the night and thoughts going
circular
around,
thoughts,
keep you
they
up.
just keep going round in
and it just
circles,
calms it down. You take it within 10 or 20 minutes, usually you're calm enough to go to sleep.
Would you, if people are find that happens to them on a regular basis, to take it going to sleep?
Yeah,
or?
well, that's what people do. People have chronic insomnia. Like, there's two types of insomnia, of course. There's acute and chronic. So I'm talking about acute insomnia, where you just wake up. I would normally sleep quite well, but maybe there's the odd night something in your mind and you need to calm it down, and you'd wake up and you'd take a shot of valerian and it just calms everything down. But then for chronic insomnia, you'd need to take it on every day, basically.
Yeah, preemptive almost.
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
In terms of general eye health, we have a specific question on eyes, but just in terms of general eye health, is there anything supplementary that we should be taking?
Well, you know, actual fact, vitamin C is very good. Cataracts can be often a problem as we grow older, you know, and seemingly vitamin C is very good. Also, like, you know, the best way to get your vitamin C actually is probably in things like oranges and things like that, and fruit. Also, you know, there's things like the green vegetables, for instance, like there's and tomatoes, lutein in tomatoes, and kale. So these actually have a wonderful effect to help the retina of the eye. So it prevents cataracts, but also prevents macular degeneration, which I think can often happen as people grow older.
Okay, something more specific, trigeminal neuralgia.
Oh, that's a tough one now. You know, trigeminal neuralgia really is basically, you know, some people get it and it goes away quite fast. Sometimes it can last many years. It's a desperate situation.
What is it, sorry?
It's a trigeminal nerve in the face.
Ah, okay.
And it affects the whole side of the face.
But this caller affects
and
their
it affects
eyes,
the eyes, because those nerves run into the eyes too. So it affects the eyes. So one eye the lid might be closed down a bit more on one side of the face, you know. Acupuncture, believe it or not, I found very good for this. I found, especially in the early stages, I found it to be quite good at this.
Okay. Long COVID. We've had a few questions in on that, and I'll just ask one specific question, but as I say, it casts a wide net, this, because lots of people contacting. My husband had COVID, is still very tired. Could you recommend anything as a pick-me-up? He's only 54, so...
Yeah, this is so common.
It's going to be debilitating for him.
Fatigue is a big problem with long COVID. We're getting lots and lots of people with long COVID now, and it's going to be... We're kind of looking at there's going to be a tsunami of long COVID going into the future, because, you know, we've had things, Epstein-Barr syndrome, and which we call it chronic fatigue and things like this in the past. So with this, we feel this is going to be long-term. Now, with fatigue, there's two factors with fatigue. Sometimes fatigue can be helped with things like, for instance, rhodiola is a wonderful herb. It's actually very good for helping.
I'm going to ask you to spell some of those for me.
RHODIOLA is rhodiola.
Okay.
So rhodiola is a herb. It comes from the Nordic countries, Scandinavia, Siberia, and things like that. And it's a wonderful herb for the nervous system, but also has the ability to actually help the body, give energy to the body. So it's a gentle herb. And often what happens with long COVID is that it can affect the brain too. So people can get depressed and things like that.
Brain fog and lack of concentration.
And it helps with that. It helps the whole body, strengthens the immune system. So
now, when you take something like rhodiola, people might go, right, that's in my mouth. Do I feel better now? How do sort of complementary medicine work? Is the impact, of course, with the likes of valerian, as you mentioned, the impact is immediate, right? Yeah. But with something like rhodiola, does it take a while for your body to absorb it, to build up the levels that are required for it to have a positive effect?
Yeah, we would always say take it for a month. You know, 3 weeks to a month. Now, if you're not having the benefit in 3 weeks to a month, it's the wrong herb.
Yeah,
because people can persist, and I would always suggest that you try something for a month, see if it benefit, and then, you know, if it isn't, come back and maybe it's something else. Because, you know, I'm giving a kind of one-shot thing for maybe, and sometimes if you go to a herbalist, like I'm a herbalist, we'd take an hour of consultation to figure out what to give the person. So in a shop floor or like this, it's kind of...
Yeah, of course. And I think the listeners understand that. Well, because what it really opens a door that maybe they can say, right, maybe alternative medicine or complementary medicine is a road I can go down, but it's going to be in consultation with someone like yourself, of course. Right, what was going to... yes, in terms of how you consume it, right, you talked about obviously vitamin C in apples, tomatoes and all that stuff. Valerian's a liquid?
Valerian
sorry.
it comes in it's a root of a plant that grows actually along riverbanks in Ireland. But in actual, we make it into a tincture, or you can get it in tablet form. Usually, the tincture is the stronger form.
What's a tincture? Pardon my
tincture,
friends.
sorry, is an alcohol water mixture. So water and alcohol are the best solvents for anything. So when you mix the herb in those solvents, it withdraws everything out of it. So it's an easy way to take it. It doesn't taste the greatest. So a lot of people actually go for the tablets, but the tablets aren't as strong as the liquid.
Yeah, okay, but if it relieves the problem, you'd suffer the taste.
Yeah.
And then the likes of rhodiola, how is that delivered? Is that by tablet?
Again, that's by tablet.
Okay.
Our liquid, mostly you'll find again tablet of this. It's
All right. Is there anything I can take to stop or alleviate hot flushes?
Yeah, there is actually good combinations there, and it has to be combinations. Like you have things like sage, but sage is just one herb, and usually when you have menopause, it's actually a combination of things. Like women, in a way, get menopausal symptoms. Now, menopause is a natural occurrence. It should happen. And, the menopausal symptoms should only last a short period of time, maybe a couple of months. Whereas often people come to, because they're having hot flushes, they're tired, all many symptoms. Insomnia is another one of those. Then you need more than just one herb. So there's combinations of herbs that help the whole body deal with. Often it's an imbalance in the body that's caused it. So if the body is in balance, you go through the menopause, and it's a natural occurrence. You wouldn't be doing this at the beginning of time. But because if the body is out of balance, it can't cope with the lower hormonal level, and the body doesn't adjust to it, and it causes all these symptoms. So what we do is we've usually combinations. Now there's a number of different combinations you can get, and you would basically try one for a month. Usually a month, 3 weeks, you see the benefit. If it isn't working in 3 months, then you try another one. And there's no one particular formula that goes to suit everybody, but
because everybody's deficiencies, if you could call that, are going to be different. So you have to find the right key to open the particular lock.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly,
I get you. In terms of vitamins, this caller takes vitamins, but they want to know, can I take them separately, and is that safe to do, or should I take multivitamins instead?
Often vitamins are better in a mixture.
Yeah.
Because that's the way they normally come. So when we should be getting our vitamins from our food, and sometimes it's absorption could be the problem. If the person isn't getting vitamins from the food, and nowadays, like, it's wonderful. A lot of the supplements now are coming in food form, so they're actually,
Do you are multivitamins useful? Sometimes
I
try them and I look at the box and it says it's got vitamin, the whole bloody alphabet, and I'm wondering, really?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, if you're deficient in something, like, it is actually, then it was very helpful.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can, even with this modern diet, is like, we have too much food in that fact, but sometimes we can be deficient in one thing. Like, for instance, white flour, for instance, if you get the normal full grain of flour, there's B vitamins there to help the absorption. If you're not getting those B vitamins and you're eating lots of processed wheat, for instance, then you become lacking on the B vitamins. So
common sense, really, I suppose.
So when you eat, people need vitamins if they're lacking something, and sometimes through particular periods of life, like usually youth, adolescence period, these particular changeable periods of times, people need these because they're lacking in the diet. Older people too, again. Vitamin D is very, with the COVID, it's been huge, vitamin D, because in actual fact, when they measure vitamin D, the vast majority of people are deficient in vitamin D.
But you also have to make sure that you don't overdo it either. At the
exactly,
same time.
Because vitamin D is an actual fact. And it's wonderful now that the doctors will check for this.
We're talking about it now,
Yeah, they're actually testing.
Is there a natural way or an alternative or complementary way to bring down cholesterol?
Oh, there is, yeah. Wonderful, like with cholesterol, there is vegetables, plant statins that actually, they actually have a wonderful, they advertise the margarine and all this, but you can get in tablet form too, which actually is a kind of
you don't have to spread it on bread with flour that's deficient.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Well, the trouble is when it's in the food source, like it just depends how much you eat. You can't be sure. Whereas you get the tablet form. Well, we have, there's plant statins there that really we've seen so many people actually getting their cholesterol down, so they don't have to go on statins. So there's plant sterols.
It's one of those that nature has a really good answer to, is it cholesterol? Yeah, okay.
Absolutely, and it prevents going on. I mean, sometimes people need to go on the statins, but if they try plant sterols first, why not?
Okay. Psoriasis.
Psoriasis, difficult one, a really difficult one. Psoriasis is one of these things, and skin problems are generally the tract ones are very hard to treat. I mean, there is things that you can try like externally and internally, but it is a very difficult thing. It's more kind of easing the symptoms, like aloe vera and things on the surface.
It's not going to fix it, but it's the scratching or itchiness you're trying to get rid of.
It's really complicated, actually. I mean, even the dermatologists themselves. It's a really difficult thing to treat.
Yeah, and they have to go at you for a long time to find the right thing that gives you some relief.
So it's a matter of kind of easing it down a bit.
Okay, I really want to add a tonic to my children's health to fight coughs and flus. What would you recommend?
Yeah, well, there's actually a wide range of them, and it's wonderful nowadays. Like in actual fact, you have things that are there that are, they're nice tasting. Salus do a good one, I find. Salus is a company from Switzerland, and they have a long tradition, over 100 years. And Biostat is another one, an excellent tonic. That was, it's actually what they do is they put a lot of herbs in, and there's another one. There's a couple of them now in the market. What they do is they get the herbs and they give them to yeast, and the yeast eat it, and they make it so then they kill the yeast off. So when you take the tonic, it's actually pre-absorbed already.
Okay.
So it goes straight in, and these seem to be very effective. One of the problems with probably where people are deficient is that they're not absorbing it.
Yeah.
They're actually, the digestive system is not absorbing the actual...
when you take a vitamin or something and it changes the colour of your urine, what's happening there?
That's why you often see with vitamins, B complex vitamins, it changes. It's just the excess is going out. So there's two different types of vitamins really. There's the oil soluble one and the water soluble ones. With the oil soluble ones like the vitamin D, you have to be careful because it stores it in the body. You can overdo it. But with like vitamin C and B complexes, are water soluble. They go straight through the body. You can't.
So your body takes what you need
and the rest of it is
extracted.
Okay. Exactly.
This is, I don't know, maybe. A listener had a cataract removed. The damage caused an ulcer, which has now left a permanent blur. Is there anything in your type of medicine that might help with that?
Yeah, well, there actually, one of the things is called lion's mane. It's actually a herb. It's a mushroom in actual fact. And this mushroom lion's mane is very popular at the moment because it's really, it increases nerve growth factor in the body. And nerve growth factor, as you can imagine, is connected with the nerves. But it's actually been used for ulcers on the corona. It actually seems to be quite effective. Now, I've never actually given this one for that, so I'm not just only from the literature. But we normally use lion's mane for people who are getting like a bit of like dementia, like anything to do with the nerves. Lion's mane is very good.
It's stimulating. Okay.
Yeah.
Tinnitus. A lot of people suffer from tinnitus.
Very, very. And they're very difficult. There's no particular, like, you get a bang in the head and you get tinnitus or character or something. And, that's a physical damage. But there's other types of tinnitus that come from stress, and that's very treatable. Again, going back to things like valerian and things like that can actually help that because, it's quite common that tinnitus comes on because of stress. So it depends on the types of tinnitus. If it's injury or like too much loud music or whatever, there's not much you can do really.
The likes of ligament injuries, is that?
Yeah, ligament injuries, again, in time. One of the great herbs for this, and this was discovered really when they did research and they looked at all these farmers from China, actually, where they looked at 3,000 years that have records of going back that 10 to time of herbalists treating people. And they looked at, what were the biggest farmers that were treating like ligament damage, or was it frozen shoulder in particular that they were looking at. And they found that astragalus, a herb called astragalus, is actually used in all the good farmers that were ever discovered, because these herbalists, over generations were using and then discovered particular things. And so I find that very good. So I've had many people that came in and you treat them for something else and they have a frozen shoulder or elbow or something like that, and you give them astragalus along with an anti-inflammatory, because you need that. Like turmeric was a great anti-inflammatory. You combine the two together, it really shortens the time, because what astragalus does is helps the healing. It's amazing. They say it builds flesh. Very healing.
Glucofort, are you familiar with it in terms of stabilising blood sugars?
Oh yes, yeah.
Do you believe it to be effective?
It is, yeah, it is. It does, yeah.
Anything you can take for menopause that is hormone free? I am unable to take anything that contains hormones as I had cancer. that has hormone positive, finding it impossible to sleep and sweats as well.
Again, you see, it's back to these formulas. Like, you know, like some of the formulas we have, like, it's a different way of treating it. So if you're treating it on a medical model, then if you're low in hormones, they'll give you a progesterone estrogen. Okay, that's the way. Herbal medicine has a different way. It helps the body cope with the deficiency because it's a normal. It isn't. If you get the body back into balance, then the lower hormones don't affect the body. So a lot of these formulas that I'm talking about, they have no hormonal effects. They affect the body, but there's no hormones in there. You know, but it helps the body balance.
A lot of questions coming in as it relates to sinus issues, ongoing sore throats. Don't know why antibiotics aren't having an impact. One side of the throat always affected. Yeah. Do you want to speak individually about that one?
Yeah, well, this is very common. Like, you know, what people get is they often, if they've got say they get a sinus infection, then they get a host of antibiotics often, and after a while the material is gone. But what can be left sometimes is fungal infection. So a fungal infection, and that's antibiotics don't touch it. So these people get a chronic fungal infection and the sinus, which is really intractable. Nothing seems to be working for it. So there is formulas like for that. Again, that actually they clean out the sinus, but they're actually good. See, herbs are multifunctional. They'll attack viruses just as much as fungi. So they actually, some herbal remedies are quite good for this again.
I'm looking for a way to help sinus, which I get quite often, and a blocked nose. It's so annoying. Tried over-the-counter sprays, but they don't help much.
Yeah,
probably
again,
the same area.
Same area. You see, this is it. And we've quite good things like that. Actually, like you ever when you go to a sushi bar, like if you take.
I've never been to a sushi bar. Any other examples?
Well, no, if you go to a sushi bar, they give you two things. They give you horseradish and they give you ginger.
Okay.
And when you take that horseradish, it goes straight to your nose. You feel it in your nose.
Yeah.
If you take the ginger, it goes straight to your stomach.
Yeah.
So herbs have this ability to target certain areas.
Yeah.
So we use herbs like horseradish and things to target the sinus area, and they really just clean it out.
Yeah, it's interesting because some things within certain foods you'll feel that you might get feel like a burning sensation in your tongue or something. Right? Okay, that's interesting. I have gum disease. Can you recommend anything that can help and generally improve gum health?
Yeah, well,
health
health
maybe
is
reverse
like
the problem.
Well, obviously besides like the obvious dental, like washing your teeth and mouthwashes, things like that, another very good thing for that is coenzyme 10. Coenzyme 10 for really intractable gum disease is quite good. Coenzyme 10.
Anything to help reverse or assist post-COVID hair loss? A lot of people reporting thinning of hair, bald patches.
Well, the bald patches and alopecia, like that can happen. And again, that's common because COVID, there's a lot of stress around COVID and it affects the body in so many ways. And stress can be so often these like hair loss like that, bald patches could be
an inch square bald patch for no reason. It appears to be for
that's
no
right.
reason.
So that's alopecia. That's a big type of alopecia that comes often from stress and COVID. So one herb that we find really good is called it's called He Shu Wu. But in actual fact, black-haired Mr. Hu it means in Chinese. And the story goes that this guy went out and there was a famine in his village and went out and ate this herb and he came back. He went out grey-haired, came back black-haired. That's how the story goes. But it's absolutely an amazing herb for the hair. A lot of the hairdressers now recommend it for hair loss.
How soon might you see some sort of
3 months generally. For the hair, 3 months. The nails and the hair, 3 months. Well, everything that happens is 3 months after. So if you get that bald patch, it's what's happened 3 months before that caused that bald patch.
Yeah, I get you. Right, okay. So it's not how you're feeling necessarily in the moment.
Yeah.
The valerian, there's someone asking, is the valerian drops? The valerian are drops if you don't mind a little bit of a taste to it. Isn't that correct? Or you can get the tablets. But the valerian drops are more quick affecting. Where can you get this stuff, all this stuff?
Well, in the health food shops, and a lot of the chemists are doing this as well nowadays.
And if people want to speak to you, where are you based?
We're down the Natural Way in the shopping centre there.
Very good, okay.
And we have, we great staff.
Have you found an increase in traffic through COVID? Because, and I'm not getting into that conversation, but we started all of a sudden saying, you need to avoid one type of developed medicine because there are other cures that are out there. And I'm not saying people came looking to you for that or even that they exist, but have you found an increase in awareness of
Yeah, there's increased awareness all the time. You find there's more, but the problem is there's a lot of disinformation too. There's a lot of stuff on that are, so I think it's better to go in and talk to people who are trained in the shops. All people in the health food shops are well trained.
Yes, exactly. Okay, listen, it's been very interesting, David. Thank you.
Thank you,
it's great to have you back in studio and
Lovely
back
to
on the
see you
programme.
again.
Okay, that was David Foley there of The Natural Way in Letterkenny, isn't it? And that was Wellness Wednesday. Lots to come on the programme, including Kieran O'Donnell with a preview of the Highland Radio Business Matters podcast.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
You can pick up all the ingredients for a great deal at Tesco Mobile, like the amazing Samsung Galaxy A52s 5G, free for just €30 a month on our bill pay plan. That's a saving of $149.99. Plus, you'll even get 99% network coverage. This is Supermarket Mobile. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. Visit us in-store or search Tesco Mobile. T's and C's apply. 24-month contract payable by direct debit. 99% population coverage. See tescomobile.ie for full plan details and T's and C's.
As life starts to get back to a new normal, it's time that we look after what is precious to us. Are you struggling with your hearing? Your hearing is an essential part of everyday living. Hearing is our social sense and connects you to friends and family. At Connect Hearing, we're here for you, with our clinics at Courtyard Shopping Centre, Letterkenny, and Joyce's Chiropody Clinic in Dunlow. Our centres are open Monday to Friday, where you can avail of our hearing tests, wax removal and repair services. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life.
Do you suffer from heartburn or abdominal pain? Do you experience frequent constipation or diarrhoea? If you need or are waiting for an endoscopy consultation, then why not come see us at Kingsbridge Private Hospital, Sligo, where we provide excellence in private healthcare. We are approved by all private health insurers and our specialised consultants are ready to see you. Avoid long journeys and longer waiting lists. Visit kingsbridgeprivatehospital.ie for more information. Because life matters.
Small businesses often find it difficult to access the finance they need. Microfinance Ireland, the government-funded, not-for-profit lender, can help. We help businesses who've been unable to secure finance from banks or other lenders. We provide business loans up to €25,000 to businesses of less than 10 employees with a turnover of up to €2 million. For more information, visit microfinanceIreland.ie or talk to your local enterprise office. Microfinance Ireland, funding small businesses in times of recovery and opportunity.
Hi, Teresa Mannion here with a road safety alert for bad weather. Your vehicle may be blown off course in strong winds, so slow down. Watch out too for vehicles and cyclists veering across the road and fallen debris like branches. Visit rsa.ie from the Road Safety Authority.
Highland Radio Time Checks, brought to you by Letterkenny Shopping Centre, the centre of shopping in Donegal. Free parking and shopping all under one roof. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at...
The time is 11:41. Now, that last item overrun a little bit, so one quick ad break to catch up on. Stay with us because Kieran's coming up after these.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Mortgages now available with a personalised service from your local and friendly credit union. Email mortgage@letterkennycu.ie.
Need a new part for your Ford car or van? Why not call to OMS Auto Parts in Buncrana? With a massive stock of Ford parts, you're sure to get the part you need. Free next day delivery on orders over €50. Call 074 9361924 or shop online at omsautoparts.ie.
There are many reasons people switch to Clear Mobile.
Serious deal. Simple as.
Customer service is A1.
Great coverage.
There you go. Unlimited calls, texts and data with 99% 4G population coverage for $14.99 a month. You clear? They are. Clear Mobile. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Switch today at clearmobile.ie. 30-day contract. Activation fee and fair use applies. Max data speed 5 megabits per second. See clearmobile.ie for terms.
Donegal Hearing Clinic, now open at Pierce Road, Letterkenny and Buncrana, now offering state-of-the-art rechargeable hearing aids free with your PRSI. Also pain-free microsuction wax removal services. Call 074 91 88470 or donegalhearingclinic.ie. Life sounds brilliant with Donegal Hearing Clinic.
Nutrius Milk Replacer range, which includes NutriStart and NutriStart Plus, offers the best start to your calves this spring season. With 23% 20% and 25% crude proteins, ideal for calf to beef and heifer rearing systems. Give your calves the best possible start. Available at your local Homeland store. Visit nutrius.ie for full nutritional information.
All your hopes, all your dreams, all your ambition, all your hard work, all your goals and determination, all your late nights and coffee breaks, all lead you to one place, Allstate, where career opportunities are endless. Have it all at Allstate. Search allstateni.com today.
Century Complex is the perfect family day out. Kids will love exploring Century Play. There's lots of tasty options available at Backstage Bar and Grill. And at Century Cinemas, we're showing entertaining kids movies, rom-coms, actions, adventure movies, dramas and more. Call us on 074 9121 or visit centurycinemas.ie.
Okay, a couple of announcements before we get to Kieran. Would appreciate a wee message on the airwaves as we've decided to cancel bingo this evening and have bingo patrons travelling from the likes of Rathmullen, Ballabufey, etc. Tonight's bingo at Bonnegee is cancelled due to the weather warnings in place. It'll resume next Wednesday. I think that's a sensible call there. Hi, Greg. You know you're getting old when your teeth and you don't go to bed together. Okay. Right. There's a number of trees down on the R254 Doherty to Glendown Road. Please use alternative routes. Work is ongoing to remove them. All right, here's Business Matters.
Business Matters in association with Letterkenny IT's Faculty of Business. Applications are now open for the highly regarded Masters in Leadership and Innovation in the public sector. Also a Masters in Governance, Compliance and Data Protection in Financial Services. And a certificate in Online Dispute Management. Visit lyit.ie for more information.
All right, you're welcome back to the programme. Kieran O'Donnell, presenter of Business Matters, joins us. Kieran, when do you feel that you don't feel old?
Not at all.
Any telltale signs? Using cash, someone said earlier on, is a sign of getting old.
Finding cash. Looking for cash.
Exactly. That is the absolute facts indeed. Just when you think you're getting somewhere, life decides to say no spare cash for you, my boy. Right, okay. The Business Matters podcast from Highland Radio is released every Wednesday. It's broadcast on the radio too. We'll tell you more about that anon. But we'll kick off with some news from Kieran first. And the Oldfield Sweet Factory site, that's been, I don't know if it's changed hands prior to this, but it's a long time being sold, is it, Kieran?
Yeah, there was a lot of speculation, Greg, over the last number of years, but the site of the former Oatfield Sweet Factory in Letterkenny has been sold for a figure believed to be in the region of €1 million. The famous factory, which employed over 80 people at its height, closed 10 years ago, and in 2014 the buildings were demolished. So the sale of the site zoned general employment within the current county development plan was handled by local estate agent DNG.
Right. It'll be interesting to see what goes there. There's land across the road as well. Not saying it's associated with that, but it'll be interesting to see what they develop in that area.
Talk about a transport hub possibly going there. That was the talk in the past, so I suppose it's a wait and see process now.
Okay. Right, a local farmer is going to be taking to the screens.
Yes, Ramelton farmer Alistair Doherty will feature in Contractors as a fly-on-the-wall observational documentary series for TG4 that begins on Thursday week, February the 24th at 9:30pm. Alistair runs his farm along with his wife Lorraine and father Bobby, who started the family operation 40 years ago. They have 130 dairy cows and supply their milk to Orivo Co-op, so we'll get an insight into the workings of Alistair and his crew over the coming weeks.
All right, let's go south of the Gap.
Yes, just for you.
Thank you. Well, it's not just for me, it's for all the listeners in South Donegal as well, Kieran.
That keeps everybody happy. McIntyre's Bar on Duncanlees Main Street is up for sale. The well-known pub, which has a fisherman's licence allowing for extra trading hours, has a 4-bedroom residence on the first floor and a newly refurbished 1-bedroom apartment to the side. Henry Kane, son of Ballabufey, is the selling agent and have not yet disclosed the asking price.
A fisherman's licence? I haven't heard about one of them for quite some time. Okay, that's interesting.
I suppose
I've never availed of the hours that it permits.
In the past, it's maybe been a more valuable commodity or asset, but the way things are going in the pub trade, it's hard to know how much more beneficial it is at this stage, isn't it?
Yeah, back in the day, you just walking around in a set of chest waders, just in case you refused entry. Yeah. TCS and LYIT joining forces.
Yeah. Tata Consultancy Services, better known as TCS, a global IT services consulting and business solution organisations with a base in Letterkenny, teamed up earlier this month with Letterkenny IT to run TCS HackQuest Ireland 2022. So the event builds on the successful TCS HackQuest event, which has been operating in India since 2016. TCS is now piloting the Ethical Hacking Challenge event in Ireland in collaboration with LYIT, which has marked the first time the event has been held outside of India.
All right, now positive news as it relates to the development at St Eunan's College.
Yeah, planning permission has been finally been given for the multi-million euro extension to St Eunan's College in Letterkenny. The development will see the all-boys secondary school get a two-storey, 7,700 square metre extension, and to facilitate the works, it's expected that all existing temporary buildings, the sports hall and the teaching block that was built in 1979, will be demolished, and that extension is not before its time.
All right, okay, an extensive one too. Right, we'll be back after a quick break, looking forwards to the podcast.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from 40,000 to 600,000 euro with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
For all your health and beauty needs, you can always rely on McGee's Chemist in Letterkenny. If you need a prescription, just call or order online at mcgees.ie and it will be ready for you in advance before you arrive. For beauty and skin care, there's all the big names at great prices in store and online. And for your photo printing needs, simply download the McGee's Photo Prints app or click on the website link. McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, for all your health and beauty needs, and so much more. Call 91211409 or visit mcgees.ie.
Your specialty is quality tiles, bathroom suites and wooden floors. Who is the best range of tiles in Donegal?
Crawford Tiles.
The best wood flooring?
Crawford Tiles.
The best bathroom suites?
Crawford Tiles.
5-day bathroom refits?
Crawford Tiles.
And who's been tampering with my questions?
That'll be me.
Crawford Tiles, Castlefin. That'll be them. 07491 43942.
Bus Éireann are recruiting professional bus drivers nationwide for seasonal work commencing April 2022. All you need is a full Category D licence, digital tacho and CPC. Route and fleet training will be provided. For further information and to apply online, go to busaireann.ie/jobs.
New this week in Home Store and More. All artificial plants are half price. But better hurry, because when all our half price artificial plants are gone, they're gone. Also, all frying pans are still half price and all fitness is still half price. But when all our half price frying pans and all our half price fitness are gone, they're definitely gone. Order online before 2 p.m. for next day delivery or drop by your local Home Store and More. Home Store and More. A happy home.
Lifford Credit Union are seeking an experienced professional to lead their finance team. This person will assist in the further development of the business. Reporting to the CEO, the finance officer will have responsibility of the complete finance function. Qualified or part qualified accountant with a minimum of 3 years in the industry or relevant practice experience. Email CV to inquiries@liffordcu.ie. Closing date is the 22nd of February 2022. Lifford Credit Union is an equal opportunities employer and is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Discover Edinburgh this summer with Ryanair's 3 times weekly service. Stunning architecture, endless winding streets and an awe-inspiring castle. Ireland West Airport. You're flying.
Okay, today very windy with strong and very gusty west to southwest winds. There'll be gales on exposed coasts. There's a risk of coastal flooding. There'll be outbreaks of heavy rain at first, which may cause spot flooding, but the rain will gradually clear to well-scattered heavy showers later this afternoon. Continuing very windy tonight with strong and very gusty westerly winds, but winds will ease a bit towards morning. Scattered blustery and heavy showers will persist through the night. Temperatures 0 to 3 degrees if you happen to be out and about, and it's an evening to batten down your letterbox, Kieran.
Yeah, and shovel on the coal.
Okay, smokeless, of course, if you live within the town boundaries. Right, Kieran, tell us what's coming up on this week's Business Matters podcast.
Yes, Greg, my guest this week is Fiona McBride, founder of the Arty Fox, which produces creative craft boxes for children. A teacher at Ulster National School for 16 years, Fiona took a career break in 2020 following the birth of her 4th child to devote more time to her business. Her products were featured on the Late Late Toy Show and have received glowing reviews in the Irish Times magazine. I asked Fiona what was the best business lesson she'd learned since setting up the Arty Fox 17 months ago.
Probably to talk to your customers, to make sure that you're making them what they want I did have a Christmas. I had two boxes that I had launched at Christmas, and one didn't go at all. And I was so shocked. But, you know, that was just in my head that I thought everybody wanted that box, you know, and obviously people didn't, you know, and if I had done a bit of proper market research, proper customer discovery, I probably would have found that out, and not the hard way. The other thing I've realised as well is that, you know, I need to have a stock of things built up. There's no point in me getting an order, then going packing it, and then sending it. You know, if I have 10 of them made beforehand, or if I have 100 of them made beforehand, it's up to me then to sell them. You know what? You know, before now, there's no wild incentive. If you don't have them sitting in your workshop looking at you, there's no wild incentive to actually go and push them.
And the difference with this podcast, I think, Kieran, compared to maybe an interview on this programme, because you've got more time and what have you, is, you know, it's not all the positives and all. You get sort of an insight into, you know, the pitfalls and the mistakes, and you know, you get a real insight into the realities of running a business.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Greg. Probably time. I've got the time, I suppose, and I suppose you're not constrained to time, and people are very open and very honest. And look, they tell you the good with the bad, and I think the thing that's most satisfying for me is just how honest people are when they do sit down and talk to you, you know.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting conversation. Yeah. It's always interesting when people have kind of like a career shift as well.
Yeah, I suppose, look, Fiona was a teacher for 16 years, and you know, she's at a crossroads in terms of her business and what direction it's going to go. The business sort of took off literally overnight when she got up and running on social media. Got a big order in, and obviously it was just a few months into the pandemic. So she's a lot of ideas and a lot of ideas in terms of what way the business is going to go. She has to make a few big decisions, we'll say, in the next wee while. So hopefully they'll all work out for her.
All right, if you want to get more of that and get an insight into that, the full interview between Kieran and Fiona McBride's available now on our website on highlandradio.com on the on-demand section. You can also choose to listen on Spotify and iTunes. And if you wish to listen to it on air, as many people do, Kieran?
Yeah, after the 6 o'clock news, Greg, on Sunday evening.
Okay, and if anyone wants to get in touch with you, the programme in general, I suppose, via email, what's the best way to contact you, Kieran?
Just drop me an email, please, Greg. businessmatters@highlandradio.com.
Okay, that is Kieran O'Donnell, the Business Matters podcast, live for you right now, broadcast on Sunday at 6. Thanks, Kieran.
Good morning, Greg.
Business Matters in association with Letterkenny IT's Faculty of Business. Applications are now open for the highly regarded Masters in Leadership and Innovation in the public sector. Also a Masters in Governance, Compliance and Data Protection in Financial Services, and a Certificate in Online Dispute Management. Visit lyit.ie for more information.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Should have gone to Specsavers. That's what the ads tell you. But for some people in India, it's not that simple. Imagine having no eye tests or glasses. You couldn't work, so you could lose your home. I'm Lisa from Specsavers, and I'm proud to help the Hope Foundation provide eye care in Kolkata. Specsavers arranged for me and my colleagues to go there and do eye tests. To date, we've given out over 11,000 pairs of glasses. Find out how we're changing people's lives for the better at specsavers.ie.
Start the new year by treating yourself and availing of the best finance offer available. Driving away in your new car has become even more affordable with 0% finance now available on the all-new Kia Sportage and Kia Ceed range. Call us today to book your test drive on 074 91 345 67 or visit imotors.ie.
At Hickey Clark and Langan Insurance Brokers, they compare quotes from all the leading insurers, so you get a great price. Home, motor and van, farm, holiday home, travel and liability insurance, they quote them all. So if the worst happens, you're covered. For a competitive insurance quote today, call Hickey Clark and Langan on 9126688 or pop into their office at Ballymacool, Letterkenny. Hickey Clark and Langan General Insurances Limited, trading as Hickey Clark and Langan, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
I am making my Holy Communion this year, and we went to McConaughey's and Ballybuffet. I got everything I needed: my dress, tiara, bag and cheese. I had an amazing time with so many beautiful dresses, and Mum was able to pay a deposit for the perfect Korean dress. For your Korean day, go to McElhenney's Balbuffet.
Isn't it time to go exploring? To break away and feel something new? To conquer the Slieve cliffs that lay at the edge of the world? To lose track of time in the National Gallery of Ireland? To witness the hidden histories of Blarney Castle? Or escape the ordinary on a cruise down the Shannon? Make a memory to share forever. Because this country of ours is filled with wonders. Keep discovering at discoverireland.ie.
Okay, we wrap up the programme now with some of your comments. Hi, Greg. Can you please make your listeners aware that anyone taking their driving test, that you have to take an antigen test 24 hours previously? Found out the hard way this morning. Did you? Don't tell me you didn't get to take your test, please. Did you? Thanks for playing that song, Greg. My pleasure. It's nice if I hit the right tone now and again. I agree with Dennis McCauley. Sometimes the one-size-fits-all doesn't help children with hidden disabilities, and they need to be respected too. I have a cleft lip and palate. Worst thing as a kid was always feeling different. Can some of the county councillors, TDs or road section do anything about the amount of massive potholes in the Ballybuffane Stranolder Street? Very bad one at the exit of the main car park. Okay, I'm sure maybe some are listening. Maybe it's on the radar already. And finally, I have IBS and I started using peppermint oil, and despite it being slightly expensive, it's changed my life and I fully recommend it. It really gave me back my life for going to work, going on long journeys and going out. Okay, that's where we have to leave it on the programme today.